It's finally here. 9 years since NHL players have participated in a best-on-best tournament when the 2016 World Cup of Hockey was organized. Fast forward to today, and it's the start of the Four Nations face-off. Canada taking on Sweden here at the Bell Center at Montreal. It all begins tonight, and through this span of 9 days, non-stop international hockey between four countries, Canada, Sweden, Finland, USA, for bragging rights on a precursor to next year's Winter Olympics in Milan. Hello everyone, I am Alec Nava, John Ott in just a moment. This is the 21st time the two teams are facing off in an international tournament, Canada winning 12 of the previous 20 matches, 8-1-0, dating back to the 1976 Canada Cup. Most recently, Sweden beat Canada 4-2 in the 2024 IIHF World Championships bronze medal game. Carl Grundstrom had a pair of goals there. Canada is the co-favorite to win this tournament alongside the United States. Biggest question marks are in net, given who they have assembled in the crease between Jordan Binnington, Aiden Hill, and Sam Montembeault. But in terms of talent, they are the most talented team among the four countries. Connor McDavid, Nathan MacKinnon, Cale Makar, Sidney Crosby, all of them are household names. They could be a nightmare to face. Even if goaltending struggles, this offense is so good they can be able to score at will. Sweden is filled with two-way forwards left and right, and led by offensive dynamo William Nylander. They are defensively sound. They have to have a great tournament if they want to set themselves up for success. They can win low-scoring games, but they don't have the talent to match up front as Canada has. But they can certainly win low-scoring games. Their share of offensive weapons like Nylander, Philip Forsberg, Adrian Kempe, Victor Hedman, Rasmus Dahlin. Though Hedman and Dahlin being elite on the defensive back end. And Erik Karlsson, who had 100 points 2 seasons ago. Of course, he could chime in offensively and turn around his offensive pedigree, given that he's been having a bit of a down year this year with the Pittsburgh Penguins. As he has 6 goals, 32 assists for 38 points and a minus 14 rating. He's more of an offensive defenseman than he is on a defensive defenseman. He's one of the best pure offensive defensemen in modern NHL history. Crosby has 67 points on 54 international games, 2 Olympic gold medals, 1 each at the Men's Worlds and World Juniors, and a World Cup title. He's the only player in the IIHF Triple Gold Club to win all 3 legs as captain, Olympic gold, World Championship gold, and a Stanley Cup. He also has a Conn Smythe Trophy in his name as well, 2 of them actually, 2016 and 2017. Victor Hedman has a trophy case that includes Men's Worlds gold, 2 Stanley Cups, a Conn Smythe Trophy, and a Norris Trophy. Only 3 Swedish blue liners have recorded more points than Hedman does. 2 of them are in the Hockey Hall of Fame, Nicholas Lidstrom and Borje Salming. The other one, Erik Karlsson, is his teammate in this tournament. We wait on the arrival of John Ott. It has to be noted that Drew Doughty has replaced Alex Pietrangelo for this tournament, as Pietrangelo withdrew from this tournament because of an undisclosed injury and to prepare for the rest of the season with the Vegas Golden Knights. Devon Toews was wearing the number 5 for Team Canada because Pietrangelo was originally supposed to be on this roster. The number 7 will not be issued to him. Because Cale Makar is wearing the number 8, Doughty will wear the number 89 among jersey numbers. Joe Eriksson Ek is wearing the number 20. Matthias Ekholm wearing the number 14. So among those jersey numbers to look out for, about unfamiliar jersey numbers, Mitch Marner usually wears the number 93 in international play. However, he's sticking with his traditional number 16 that he is wearing with the Toronto Maple Leafs. All the other jersey numbers are the same as is, going over from their NHL teams to the international stages. So it's projected that Sam Bennett will be the extra forward, the extra defenseman on this roster, as Taves, Makar, Morrissey, Parayko, Fedor, and Doughty. Travis Sanheim is projected to be the extra defenseman. Here in Montreal, first-string goaltender being Montebo. For Sweden, the extra defenseman. As we get on board, Linus Ullmark is the backup to Phil Gustafsson, Sam Ersson, first stringer. Get John on here.
This is something that players and fans alike have been waiting almost a decade for.
Well, I'm going to give you the starting lineups. Again, this is from NHL.com on the side of it. So let's just go across. John Cooper is the head coach. It's Sam Reinhart, Connor McDavid, Mitchell Marner, Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon, Mark Stone, Brad Marchand, Braden Point, Seth Jarvis, Brendan Hagel, Anthony Cirelli, Travis Konecny. On D, it'll be Devin Tays, Cal McCarr, the Colorado boys. Shea Theodore, Drew Doughty, Josh Morrissey, Colton Parayko. Sam Bennett is the scratch on forward. Travis Sanheim is the scratch on defense. Sam Montembeault is the scratch in goal. Jordan Binnington's going to get the start in that tonight for Canada. And for Sweden, it sounds like this. Sam Helm is the head coach. It's Willie Nylander, Mika Zibanejad, Ricard Raquel, Philip Forsberg, Elias Pettersson, Adrian Kempe, Jesper Bratt, Joel Eriksson, Lucas Raymond, Gustav Nyquist, Elias Lindholm, Victor Arvidsson, Victor Hedman, and Jonas Brodin. On D with Matthias Ekholm and Erik Karlsson, Rasmus Dahlin, Gustav Forsling. The scratchers on forward will be Leo Carlson and Rasmus Andersson on D, Samuel Ersson in goal. Philip Gustafsson will get the start in net tonight for Sweden. Linus Ullmark will back him up. Alec, I have been looking forward to this. It's been a while since we worked together. You were the first one I reached out for as far as covering the four nations. It's good to be back together. I'm excited for this one. What say you?
9 years. That's how long it's been since we last saw a best-on-best tournament. 9 years, and today is the day. So excited to be on board with you, John, for the Four Nations face-off. And boy, this is going to be a precursor, as you noted on your tweet when you sent it out, the precursor to next year's Winter Olympics, when we have a more expensive tournament in ice hockey on the men's side, and with NHL players back on board. Canada gets to live their dream of having McDavid and Crosby on the same team. Not just them, you had the two Colorado boys, McKinnon and Makar, onto them. Those four household names, and they are as dangerous as any other star player in this league and in this hockey world. Sweden, they can win low-scoring games, though Canada, their talent level is unmatched. We'll have to see if goaltending can hold up. That's what I'm looking at for, but they are as talented as anyone else, and they may be and they're likely the toughest out in this tournament.
Yeah, I would say that, Alec, as well. And again, I want to speak to your point in a second, but you mentioned Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon. Crosby's been dealing with a little bit of a hand injury. He's been dealing with that for a while. You would know that better than I would, but he's good to go. He wasn't going to miss this. And John Cooper did say, if I have to put Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, and Nathan McKinnon on the same line, that probably means that we're in trouble. But that could mean what the power play line would look like. That makes me salivate. But I do want to bring this point home alongside you, because you made a great one here. As far as Jordan Binnington, Aiden Hill, and Sam Montembeault, I know he's got the scratch tonight. We know about Logan Thompson. He was not on this roster. Again, if they do Four Nations, at some point, again, I think the roster construction will be a little bit different as far as the amount of time allowed to put somebody on the roster. But I do want to make this case. As far as Jordan Binnington and Aiden Hill, we already know the defense in Vegas, but for Binnington, the Blues team behind him is not all that great. But when you have the defensive Devin Tays, Kel McCarr, you got all these elite forwards. I would think Jordan Binnington and the goaltending for Canada is probably going to be just fine.
Yeah, I would think so too, along with his pedigree of stepping up in the big moments, like what he did in the Stanley Cup final in Game 7 when he made 32 saves to clinch the Stanley Cup for the St. Louis Blues. And not to mention his last appearance in the IIHF World Championships, in which he led Canada to the third place game, and everything just kind of fell off from there for him. But now that he has a legitimate defense in front of him, I think it's safe to say that he will be just fine. Much like how Logan Thompson's doing with the Washington Capitals.
And I'll say this too, if we're talking about goaltending as we're watching all these guys start to make their way, we're going to get into the anthems. I know I joined in a little bit early, but I wanted to make sure to catch everything. So that's pretty cool. You got all the lights, the festivities, and everything else. This is in the Bell Center in Montreal. And then the championship semifinals and all that will be in TD Garden in Boston. But for Sweden, I look at it, I'm just looking at the names here, Alec, and honestly, Philip Gustafsson, Linus Ullmark, this Sweden net minding's not too bad in this team. When you think about it on the third line, you got Gustav Forsling, who already was one of the best plus-minus guys last year with Rasmus Dahlin, this back-end defense. Victor Hedman is the captaincy. You got Erik Karlsson as well. Team Sweden looks pretty good to me.
Yeah, they do. When you split out the defense pairs as evenly as you do with Sweden, you're good to go. You get an offensive-minded defenseman next to a defensive-minded defenseman. That's probably the best way that you can structure it out if you're Team Sweden. Hedman's offensive-minded, Brodin's defensive-minded, Carlson's offensive-minded, Ekholm's defensive-minded. You see the pattern that we're going with here? It's all making sense here. Dali with Forsling, that would be the most dangerous pairing that I would want to watch out for, arguably.
I think so. Because you talk about that, we're looking at it just head-to-head. You got Josh Morrissey and Colton Parayko versus Rasmus Dahlin and Gustav Forsling. If it goes that way, I'm giving the edge to Sweden. I mean, we're not going to break it line by line by line, because I agree with Alec as far as Canada. They're the favorite, the top-end talent. I don't care who you have out there. You're not going to compete with Canada's top-end talent as far as their forwards. And when we talk about our game tomorrow, I know we'll do that a little bit. There are going to be some big misses for both Finland and the United States, as Quinn Hughes will not be on the roster, and will Miro Heiskanen. So that's really going to hurt Team Finland. If I had to guess, Alec, I don't want to put anybody out the pasture here on night one, but I think Team Finland, especially in the back-end defense, is going to be a little bit light. That's where I think that they would struggle.
Yeah, I would think so too. Heiskanen is the biggest loss because after him, you would not expect a lot of offense from the defenseman. It's going to have offense that's hard to come by for them because there's not a lot of offensive-minded defensemen on Finland. Most of them are defensive-minded. Heiskanen is their biggest piece, and without him, offense will be very hard to find on the defensive side. You're most likely going to have to generate more turnovers at your own end if you want your defensemen to set up the offense as a chance for the forwards the rest of the way.
So we're looking right now on the aerial camera shot. We have the flags of both respective teams of Canada and Sweden. And this is pretty sweet as far as everything across the board. Alec, I want to just try to divvy it out now. You're free to take the reins if you want to, but if not, I can take the first, you take the second, I'll let you close.
Hey, we'll do it at the normal pattern that we've been doing. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll let you close tonight and get everything squared away. I think for USA-Finland tomorrow, I'm in between World Juniors. Look, I know you covered the Super Bowl, you've covered the NBA Finals, I went through Stanley Cup Finals with you, World Juniors, we've covered a lot of big events. USA-Finland tomorrow is going to be big just because those two teams that always play together always seem to play tight. So I'm looking forward to that. We're going to get the representations of the anthems of both teams. I am just ready to drop the puck.
Yeah, we can. We were highly anticipating the puck drop here in Montreal, one of two host cities. Admittedly, it would be a nice, beautiful sight around Montreal. Lots of hockey bars around the area. Of course, they are all have their eyes set here.
So I know that there are some players that have to miss the tournament just because of injuries or things like that. I know there was some people out there that said this really isn't best on best because a couple of guys end up being off the roster. I don't think that could be any further from the truth here. I think this is a good way to get the Olympic tune-up, as we've talked about. I mean, this is something that we've wanted to see for a long time, Alec. You talked about the length as far as it used to be like Team North America and some of the other made-up teams. Now we get to have the countries represent countries. And really, this is, much better than just the standard all-star game.
It is, by a mile already. And as you speak of Olympics, we just had some news from Mr. Gary Bettman himself. He has indeed confirmed the 2028 World Cup of Hockey. The bidding process has just begun for who will be the host country for the World Cup, and it's going to involve at least 8 nations.
That is so cool. Again, they were asking him a lot of questions. I saw some of that a little bit in the pregame as well. I know that he got a couple questions as far as when is Gary Bettman going to get set for retirement. I know that's probably a couple years from now when they're thinking across, but I think Gary Bettman probably should stay at least until the World Cup of Hockey is over. I think he's earned that right.
At the very least, from that perspective. It's got to get the viewership ratings up because this year has not been the best for viewership in the NHL.
No, you're right about that, Alec. Again, they've made some money. We've talked about the salary cap going up and all of that, but like you said, you're mixed in between TNT, ESPN, online. It's really hard to be able to get the games in one streaming package. I did see the Cleveland Guardians now, if we're going to talk about that for a second. They've mixed in baseball where you can actually buy it between the team site for the year. So if the NHL does something like that, that's only going to make things better. Now we're getting all the official name announcements with the kids on the ice as they've just introduced Nathan McKinnon and Kel McCarr. You got the names and lights with the jerseys. That looks really cool.
Oh yeah, you have the names and the light shows all around on this lights out crowd with the lights all coming out from their glow sticks as well. The crowd is on their feet. They are hyped up for their country playing in a best-on-best tournament. You expect that this crowd is going to erupt for every Canada goal that's scored here on home ice.
I know it's home ice, and again, it's another advantage, just like it was in the WJCs. It didn't work out for Canada on that side for the U.S. However, I will say, at least tonight, if I have to give a score prediction, I do think this is going to be close. Sometimes you get the first night nerves. I will give Canada the edge. I'm going to say, man, I want it to be close. Let me say 4-3.
You know, I was on your similar thinking as well about a close game, though with Sweden making it a little uncomfortable for Canada at points given their two-way advantage on the forward and defensive side. I feel Canada will do enough to get the win here. I'll have it at a 4-2 win for Canada.
Good, because I was thinking that. I was going to say that, so we can split the difference there. Teemu Selanne, the former Winnipeg Jet and Anaheim Duck, also out there. And then they have the captaincies in the mix of Victor Hedman and Alex Barkov for a ceremonial puck drop. Again, I always mention this a long time in the mix for Barkov as well when we see him tomorrow. He is one of the best two-way players all the way across the NHL. I still don't think he gets the respect he deserves.
His play style reminds me so much of Patrice Bergeron. He's like him, but with more offense to it.
That's a really good comparison there, Alec. Mike Richter, the former Team USA netminder as far as Olympic hero. We're bringing out all the stops right now in the Bell Center. Austin Matthews now being introduced. A little bit of booze here for Mr. Matthews.
Not really surprised because he's in Montreal and the rivalry is natural when you have the Leafs and Habs involved.
You have some dual citizenship for some of the guys on Team USA as well when you think about Matthews and Tkachuk that could also play for Team Canada. But Austin Matthews from Glendale, Arizona, going to elect to play for Team USA tomorrow. But I agree with Alec. Again, a little friendly rivalry there. And in the mix, Daniel Alfredsson on the coaching staff, the former Ottawa Senator there for Team Sweden.
Yeah, it's nice to see Daniel Alfredsson around. He's one of Sweden's assistant coaches. And as you speak of dual citizenship, that is the exact case with William Nylander, born in Calgary, but his father, Michael, was born in Stockholm, Sweden. So that's why William is choosing to play for Team Sweden.
I think that that's a good disperse of talent on Nylander's part because, again, you do want to see top lines. It will take each other. That's the one thing I think if you have to go up and down the lineup, again, Canada and Sweden, we talked about Canada is going to have the edge there. But I do like the back end lines for Sweden. I just don't know how you match up with Reinhart, McDavid, and Marner and Crosby, McKinnon, and Stone as far as anything else. Man, that top six is lethal.
You mentioned about a power play line for Team Canada. Of course, you said McKinnon, Crosby, McDavid, McCarr. Yeah. Those four that you think of immediately. You put Sam Reinhart at the net front. Boy, that power play is going to be very tough to stop. Unless you have a penalty kill that is comprised of, say, Hedman next to Brodin or Forsling next to Ekholm. Those two could do well. And Elias Lindholm right on that mix. That could be a good defensive penalty kill.
Absolutely, Alec. Again, one of the biggest hands that we're seeing right now. And again, a little bit around my time more so than Alec, but Mario Lemieux and Wayne Gretzky, if it wasn't for the cancer and all the other stuff there for Lemieux or some of the other injuries, I would say 1A, 1B with Gretzky. You could honestly make that argument. He's getting a huge hand.
Oh yeah, and at his home country and leading Sidney Crosby, who he mentored
Awesome.
when Crosby was a rookie in the NHL. These two exchanging handshakes and presenting the flag of Canada. How amazing is this to see Lemieux and Crosby together again for the ceremonial opening puck drop of the Four Nations?
Yeah, they've done a great job with all the pregame and the festivities and all that. Honestly, they have those little towels to commemorate the emblems there on the side for the ceremonial puck drop. That would make one hell of a souvenir as well.
Oh yeah, it would be. The handshakes all around between the captains. Austin Matthews, this is his first year as the Toronto Maple Leafs captain, and it's interesting knowing that he's named as the captain of Team USA.
Yeah, there's a lot of names that you could use there on that side, but I you know what, honestly, Alec, I'm going to be so excited tomorrow to be able to honestly root for some guys who I already like, but, there's rivals rather with the Red Wings and the Maple Leafs. I can't exactly always root for Kachuk in Florida or Austin Matthews, but now I can tomorrow, so that's going to be pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat with Sidney Crosby. Yeah, he's one of my favorite players on the Penguins, but now it turns out that he's going to be my rival now.
Yeah, it's interesting how all this stuff works. I'm glad that you feel the same way, Alec, because I'm excited as well. I mean, you feel like a kid in a candy shop when you get something like this. And it's not very often to get a chance to do that. Honestly, I wonder how much the tickets are, because when I was looking at this, and in between the World Juniors in Minnesota and around the Christmas time, as it usually is, those were ungodly expensive tickets. So anyone that's got a chance to be able to get in the seat in the house tonight, I'm very jealous.
Yeah, I would feel the same way, not only for this, but also Olympics and any other international tournament, like next year's FIFA World Cup.
Yeah, we might have to figure out, Alex, some way for us to get down there as far as one of these big events, because I'll just be honest, you never know when it ends up coming back to when you can see it again. Sometimes it takes 8-10 years longer before we get these, and never know how many opportunities you're going to get to watch a big event like this live.
Yeah, and we're getting that here in Montreal in the first 4 games, Boston in the final 3 games for when the championship goes around. As we get Ian on board here, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, gentlemen. I'm doing well. Now, football season's done. I get to see how the rest of the NBA and NHL seasons play out, and surprisingly, I'm looking forward to baseball season.
Everything's on the horizon now, Ian, and I'm excited for it too. I mean, there's a lot of things to look forward to. Hopefully this is going to be a good precursor tonight. Again, it gives us a little bit of something to really sink our teeth into while the NHL's on break. I mean, you talk about all the moves and things that have been made across the board. It's a good time of year.
And there's still moves to be made because the trade deadline hasn't happened yet.
Not in the NHL. We have another month or so here, and you know what? It seems like a lot of those teams out got their business done early. I kind of wonder if there's any more big names left.
Yeah, because JT Miller already was traded to the Rangers. There's one big trade. We have several that were on the horizon. Joel Farabee got moved, and we still have some more big trades to go through, like among potential blockbusters. Mikko Rantanen, of course, standing out from all of them to Carolina. I was thrilled when I heard that announcement of Rantanen to Carolina. Though it bums me out to see Martin Necas go to the other side, to the one mountainside to another mountainside. Even though Raleigh isn't exactly mountainside, but the closest mountain range from us is the Appalachians. But happy to see that Necas is doing good in Colorado. But I hope that Rantanen finds his footing in Carolina soon enough, because it's a rather slow start. But big name superstars usually, if they go to a new destination, sometimes they'll get out to a slow start. Much like what LeBron James and company did with the Miami Heat in the Big Three. It usually happens. It's natural. Give Rantanen time.
And there's a lot to be said, Alec, too, in playing in that system. Again, you know that better than anybody as far as Rod Brandamore, Sebastian Aho, and everyone else been able to adapt. But You're going to probably get a little bit less points than you did in Colorado, but you're still going to have to make the most of it when you're on the ice. And I couldn't believe it, even after the trade's made, Alec. There's still rumors that they might not be able to hold on to Rantanen after that when the season's done.
Well, and if we do, and it likely means that Taylor Hall could be gone, because remember, Rantanen's largest asking price was $14 million. The same cap hit that Leon Draisaitl will make on his next contract. The Avs were offering at maximum $11.75 million a year for 8 years.
We are going to get set here. Alec was able to break all that down, and again, Colorado likely make that move because they're going to try to save some of that cap space. And Marty Necas, I hate to say it for anyone else that's not paying attention, he's no consolation prize. Marty Necas is pretty darn good, and that was a big loss for the Canes going the other way. It's Philip Gustafson and Jordan Binnington in the goal crease. Again, a .270 in the NHL career, the .913 save percentage and 9 shutouts, 5th time representing Sweden internationally, as we get the camera shot of Crosby on the ice.
His first time representing Canada since the Winter Olympics, which was 4 years after that he scored the golden goal for Team Canada to capture the Olympic gold over USA.
So we're going to get set to go here. It's going to be line numero dos for John Cooper right out the gate with Sidney Crosby, Nathan MacKinnon, and Mark Stone on the forward line against the top of Nylander, Zibanejad, and Raquel. We are in the Bell Center, Montreal. I got Ian Genge with me alongside Alec Nava, who's been running color. Again, Alec's going to flip the second period and take the play-by-play and let him close tonight as we'll mix in between the next 2 nights together. It's been a while since we worked together, and we've been really looking forward to this one. And immediately we will get a stoppage as the puck goes in the player's bench.
Philip Gustafson does have a solid track record playing for Team Sweden. And his development on his learning curve went up for over years. It did help going to Minnesota, a more defensive-minded team, and with Marc-Andre Fleury that he can learn from as well.
Yeah, there is a lot to talk about between these two. Again, the jersey construction in between both, as it usually is absolutely beautiful. Again, you got Sweden in the mix of the blue pants and the yellow jerseys. Canada has the red and the black and the mix of the red striping on the legs. As this will go back to Jordan Binnington and Cal McCarr. We'll get a chance to survey for the first time, and it looks like Sweden's already taken a penalty. That is not what you want to do against the Canadians. They'll just dump it, let Sweden touch. We'll get a whistle, and Alec, things are starting pretty auspiciously here for Sweden.
Yeah, not what Sweden wanted, to take an early penalty just 44 seconds into this game, and already Sweden may have to kill out 2 minutes here. We'll have to check what this penalty is about. High stick. That looked to be William Nylander, who clipped one of the Canadians up high. And that will send Canada to the first power play. Yeah, Nathan MacKinnon. Yeah, he kind of reacted a little bit to that, but not really clear enough to determine whether or not that is embellishment. I don't think it is. But nonetheless, I think that's smart from MacKinnon to have it not be too obvious.
So you have a power play unit of Reinhardt, McDavid, McCarr, McKinnon, and Crosby. Here.
That's what Alec and I were mentioning. I don't know what you do against that, but here we go. We're going to find out now. Connor McDavid to the right side. Now back in. What a beautiful pass. And Canada scores.
Right on cue. Connor McDavid right at the back door, backhand to Nathan MacKinnon, who was wide open, bottom of the left circle. That's why you would want to avoid taking penalties against this group. For all the stacked talent that they have, it's really a bad idea taking penalties against Canada, because usually you will find yourself trapped, and in this end result, McDavid, Crosby, oh yeah, that was Crosby, not McDavid, but the captaincy gets the job done on the beautiful behind the back pass. He nutmegged one of Sweden's defenders. That was Ekholm.
Absolutely filthy there from McDavid. Crosby with the capper, as Alec mentioned, Nathan MacKinnon wide open on the back door. And there's another chance right down the middle of the ice as gets sticked away. So Canada already scores inside the first minute on the power play. They have the 1-0 lead. That's a nightmare start for Sweden. Nothing Gustafson's going to be able to do. Here's a couple of fight for the puck. as it's Connor McDavid, already back out there now. We'll take this one deep. Here's a slap shot. This goes wide. Again, Sweden just trying to get their feet underneath them. Here's Canada dancing with the puck. This is swallowed up by Gustafsson.
Already Canada's pinning Sweden back deep into their own end. They want to jump to a 2-0 lead just like that. And Sam Hallam, who was named the head coach of the Sweden national team at the start of the 2023 season, you'd wonder what his game plan is for Team Sweden. More defense, rather? Tight checking? That's what you would believe from a Sweden team that is full of two-way forwards.
Yeah, you're right, Alec. Again, as we profiled a little bit in the pregame and the mix of what Sweden can offer you, as far as their defense can be absolutely elite, but the two-way forwards might have to press a little bit for more goal scoring should they be behind a couple of goals here. As this toward the right side, good work in behind the net as it's taken away. Anthony Cirelli, part of John Cooper's Tampa Bay Lightning. They mixed them on the fourth one as this one sent it across alongside Brandon Hagel. Ekholm takes a couple hits to try to make a play. As this goes in the corner, Canada now in their own D end. Cirelli will see this one go back to Victor Hedman, his former teammate. Back around now, Hedman toward the blue line side, one-timer. This one is blocked aside and then got knocked away from Binnington. Sweden trying to keep this one in on the back end. And now Cirelli will go ahead and finish his check, try to pry the puck loose near the left side red line. As this is just jammed up there, Victor Hedman will reach for it. And Sweden will go ahead and get a change. Everybody's already near the players' bench anyway. 2-0 on the shot board for Canada. It's a power play goal from Nathan McKinnon from Sidney Crosby. It was a gorgeous backhand and no-look feed as Gustafsson will stop this now. And around the end board, Seth Jarvis will take this end-to-end. Canada just able to send this one back into the zone across the right side red line. Little reverse hit as this will go back in between Sweden. Good work there, Philip Forsberg trying to keep this alive as this will be bounced in off the end boards. Seth Jarvis will get a piece of it first, and now here's a chance to be stopped aside, short side by Gustafsson. And sent back around. That was from Brad Marchand. That's Elias Pettersson. Send one in deep, and I'll be sent back around for Cale Makar. Cale Makar now will take a little bit look forward there as Mark Stone will get an outlet pass. Good touch there from Cale Makar as it's Braden Point. I'll just go ahead and take a change. Back around the end board, Stone will lose a hit. Sidney Crosby with a stick chop. Able to get this one toward the right side, intercepted by Canada for a moment. And Sweden will take the flip back down the ice. First three shots belong to Canada here. Sweden's really not been able to get in the offensive end just yet. And now this will be recollected away from Nathan McKinnon's stick, bouncing a couple times off some skates. And now Sweden will get possession. Nylander's pass. I'll try to go ahead and pick this one up now. Couple reverse hit there. Colton Parayko takes a hit, makes the play, pushes it forward. As it bounces off of Hedman's glove. Again, no delay there. It's touched with the hand. As we got 16 minutes left to go on the first shot here with you alongside Alec Nava between play-by-play and color, but we'll definitely be switching off. This is night one of Four Nations face-off. Opportunity now for McDavid. Little inside-out move toward the right post. Now he steals it. McDavid between his legs pass. And this one around now for Marner. Back to Connor. Connor, what a loft right in front of the net. A little stick lift there for Sweden to try to avoid the danger. As this is intercepted again by McDavid. He's been a beast. As this goes back around now for Victor Hedman. Little pull ball play, gets it right back. And now Sweden will try to push the other way. They'll send it down. They've iced it.
How many chances have we seen McDavid get it onto the net and with all those dazzling plays for Canada? That is the highlight reel of his night right now. Not on the power play, but he can show what he can do. Not only in last year's Stanley Cup final, but also here early. Just an early showcasing of what it's about for him. For any other NHL player, it would be a career highlight. For him, it's just another Tuesday.
Yeah, another day at the office. You're exactly right, Alec. That's the kind of skill that he shows you, and that's what we're seeing here. Connor McDavid is looking like his prime form that he is in Edmonton. Alongside all these skilled players, we're going to see some highlights we saw in the power play. As this is now redirected back to Cale Makar. Take another one toward the net. This one bounces off of Hagel. Hedman, who feels like he's been out there forever, try to chip this around the end boards. As players will come together toward the right side, we'll see who wins it. Canada has been all over this puck, and now Travis Konecny will go ahead and start this one again in his own end. He was one of the guys that could have been scratched in the mix of Sam Bennett, but they elected to rest Sam Bennett today for this game. They didn't need as much grit and sandpaper, although he does have some skill. As this one will be gloved down by the defense, be Devon Tays. Try to get this one deep as it's picked off right in the neutral zone by Sweden. Sent back in. Again, that's been the theme of the day right now for Sweden. They've just not been able to get any offensive zone time. They're just trying to play clear. And when you're doing that so much and you're getting pushed around, we'll see if that continues the rest of the game. Louise Pedersen now and Colton Pareko. Another rolling puck near the right side boards. This has just been jammed. This will be sent back around the end boards now. Sweden try to get this across the wall. One time this one gets blocked nicely by the Canadian defense. An opportunity for Adrian Kempe, as this one will be gloved down again and through the neutral zone. Kempe gets a pass. This does not hit across the blue line. It's picked off by Canada. And Marchand will just wait for everyone else. Send it in and let John Cooper's squad take a change as Matthias Ekholm will try to take it the other way. Stone help pressure the steal. As is the right side boards, Ricard Raquel now on the first line forward for Sweden will try to get this ahead. Be picked up nicely off the backhand by McKinnon and shoveled away. And off the stick lift, this is right into the neutral zone now. Opportunity here for Canada right across the right side wall. And this will be recollected now for Victor Hedman. Hedman's pass beautifully connects with Willie Nylander. Nylander will just chip it in right to Jordan Binnington. They will take this one from D to D off the touch pass. Nathan McKinnon will get a chance to start in his own end. Here's a beautiful pass ahead. Off the drop, it's Marner. Try to find McKinnon, who was cutting near the right side dot. And again, Victor Hedman right there. Try to get a piece of it. And off the backhand, it'll be Jonas Brodin. There's a little bit of a shoving match. Players get knocked down. Wide open was Makar. Good back check for Sweden. And will deny a chance right in the middle of the slot. Jonas Brodin's pass. This one will be lofted ahead. See if Jesper Bratt can do anything. He gets taken down. Playing off the knee, gets sent out of the zone. Sweden now have to start again in their own end with Ekholm. As they'll send it back around the embankment. Binnington misplayed it, but this goes now into the neutral zone. And then a pickpocket, nice, almost one-handed skip to the defense. That would have been Connor McDavid. That should not come as a surprise. And now we'll get a chance to start again for Sweden right to left. They lose it in between the neutral zone. This is off the loft. And then we get an offsides. And what I'm noticing right now, Alec, I'm going to let you jump in, but Sweden is just struggling to do anything offensively, let alone hold on to the puck.
They could do nothing against Canada. For all that we talked about with the two-way forward and the two-way play for Sweden, Canada's just one-upping them in their own game and then getting the offensive edge right to themselves. Connor McDavid looks like the best player on the ice despite not recording the goal for them. He's been doing near everything to get Canada up by 2 now. And Canada is pinching Sweden and over towards the boards whenever they're trying to get something. Whenever Sweden's trying to go towards the net, there is at least one Canadian who is there right on cue.
Yeah, and exactly. And I'm looking at this too. I know I said this like 5 or 6 times already during the play-by-play. I'm not even trying to repeat myself. I'm just telling you what's out there. For Victor Hedman, it already feels like he's played a ridiculous amount of minutes. And we talked about Ekholm and Carlson. We've seen them a little bit. Dahlin and Forsling, I haven't really seen just yet. If they're relying that heavy already on their first-line D pair, Sweden, I'm not going to say early in trouble because, again, as Alec just astutely said, it's been hard for Sweden to pretty much do anything. But if they're relying on their top-end defense already this much, that's not going to spell good things down the line in this game.
No, it's only going to exhaust the top-line defense more and more. The wear and tear is going to visibly show, and it's only going to take away minutes from the others if they can't get off the ice. You're leaving Hedman and Brodin out for how many minutes now? It just in one shift, it felt like they're even out there for forever, it seems. You got to find more ways to get your guys onto the chances and do that sustainably. You just can't keep going with a bunch of nothing.
No, we can't, Alec. And I'm glad, I'm going to let Ian jump in here in a second. I'm glad that you mentioned that again with Hedman because my eyes were not deceiving me. Alec, he's already at 4 minutes and 13 seconds of time on ice. That's ridiculous.
I was going to say, gentlemen, right now Jordan Binnington is having the most fun he's had all season because he now knows what it's like to play with the defense.
Yeah, and Alec and I mentioned that, Ian, alongside. You made up a great point. Again, we talked about that in the pregame as far as you could say Canada and some of the names. Again, we mentioned Logan Thompson should be here. We went through all that process. But, yeah, you got Sam Montembeau scratching Jordan Binnington who's getting the start. I wouldn't necessarily be as concerned about the Canadian net minding as a lot of other people might be.
Yeah, not really, because Binnington, he can deliver when the pressure is at its highest and have a good defense right in front of it, so he's going to be okay.
So Mika Zibanejad will get a chance to stay in the circle as they'll put Sam Reinhart against Mika now. We'll see if we make any other adjustments here. Now we will probably get some fallovers and switch the lines. So Mika Zibanejad now get a chance to take this rolling puck. That's one of the few things that Sweden's been able to win in their own end. Now they got to start pushing the other way. I mean, this has to be at a premium, and it's still 11:50 left to go on the first because you can't just be this one-sided. Because Zibanejad off the steal, as this is played in off the backhand now, and Colton Parayko will have this bounce right back to him. Two-time Olympic gold medalist in 2010, 2014, USA has faced some defeats in alongside Sidney Crosby in Canada, but again, we'll figure that out next year in the Olympic play. We'll figure that out in the Four Nations as well. Although, unfortunately, I won't be able to cover that game on Saturday. Alec's going to have to do some heavy lifting for me on that one. I'll try to be there in spirit. As this will be picked up now nicely off the one-on-one little inside-out move. And Devon Toews runs into the post, and now they finally blow the whistle.
Oh, that took a while, but that was a good chase down and shutdown on Devon Toews as he was driving towards the net. He was almost all alone on the partial break, but a good back check by Gustav Forsling shut that chance down on Devon Toews. That's what Forsling did his time with Florida, and he's showing it in Sweden. Sweden needs more of this.
Yeah, you absolutely nailed it, Alec. Again, the best plus minus of everything last year with Gustav Forsling. He made that play look easy. Anytime you mix it in between Makar and Toews, that is really not. As this is toward the right side, went a little bit too far there for Makar. Sent all the way back down. This will be stopped by Jordan Binnington. Will safely play him behind the net. That looked a little bit more dangerous. But now Mark Stone. We'll see if we'll try to get this off the chip and chase it to go right back to the former Panther. And Gustav Forsling. Push this one ahead now. And off the end board, Sweden will just gain the blue and send it in. That's all they've been doing. Of note, Sweden does not have a shot on goal yet. We're almost halfway through the first. The shot board is only 3-0, but it's a power play right at the beginning and alongside Ethan McKinnon from Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid. Now, toward the right side, this will be a good defense again there. This is Erik Karlsson trying to take this one away. Now, Philip Forsberg, the touch pass ahead. Good move there for Sweden. Try to get something off the rush. The pass did not hit Elias Pettersson. Picked up off the back skate by Philip Forsberg. Forsberg handle off the backhand, back in behind the mesh of Jordan Binnington. We're halfway now through the first, just thereabouts. As this is picked up now off the backspin and easily intercepted by Canada. It feels like they're all over the ice right now. Sweden just can do nothing. As this is picked up now for Victor Hedman. It's already back there. Takes it away from his teammate and Anthony Cirelli. Now toward the opportunity for Erik Karlsson off the pull ball pass. And Canada's right there to get it in across the blue. Here's an opportunity there for Braden Point. We'll chip this one ahead. Now toward the left side red line, Seth Jarvis tries to get a stick on him. He's out there with Brad Marchand. Good hit toward the right side boards. As we will see Canada again steal in their own end. Try to take this one left to right. In the mix, Brad Marchand tries to escape between his legs. Victor Hedman brushes it away toward the right side of the post. And now we'll start this one again with Willie Nylander. Taken away from Rickard Raquel as this one is put to the left side red line. Raquel will finish his hit. And off the long shot, this will be sent back down. A little misplay, but it'll fall right to Gustafsson. Hopefully it'll be a D-zone draw.
Sweden still through 11 minutes, no shots on goal, and even so, that the one that originally counted, it was taken away from them because it was more of a dumping. Sweden needs to wake up because a lot of what they're seeing is getting easy takeaways for Canada. Erik Karlsson waited a little too long with their free Canadians right around him when he was surrounded, waiting for someone. Waited a little too long.
And Alec, I think the preeminent of the wake-up is exactly what it needs to be. Because, again, I just want to be honest. We're going to jump right back into the play-by-play here, but I look at Sweden's roster, and they're way too talented to kind of look like this, correct?
Way too talented. You got the likes of Nylander, Forsberg, Kempe, who have all each scored at least 40 goals at one point in their career. Zibanejad, who had a 5-goal game into the 2020 season, and even though he's not at the same page that he was before, this is really off for Sweden.
Makar and is going to get a one-time setup, and that was a good save for Gustafsson. I guess you could say Gustafsson's been the best player, even though he's given up one on the power play, which he had no chance. Again, Alec had mentioned this, but it was McDavid setting up Makar. Connor McDavid, again, we've already known about the best player in the world as we go to break, but he's been the best player in this game by far.
Even if he wasn't the one scoring, McDavid is by far the best player in this game so far. And his talents show it. The fancy dangle showed it. His setup play showed it. And on that power play, when he set up Sidney Crosby for his primary assist to Nathan McKinnon, he showed that he is, right now, the best player on the ice.
I'm going to say this really quickly here as we're in the break for Sweden. And Alec already mentioned some of the struggles we've gone through that so far within a half of a period. But if I'm Sweden, I know you want to have the chip and chase, maybe the setup there for Sam Howell, the head coach. I think there's too much talent for that. Even if you got to take a little bit of extra time to start your breakouts and then actually pass from zone to zone to get in the offensive end, that is what I want to see more, because the chip and chase battle, I don't think that's going to work. Not when you have the likes of Devin Tays, Kel Makar, Shea Theodore, Josh Morrissey on the other side. You're probably going to get beat to it before you can even actually chase the puck. So actually get some chances, pass it in, and try to attack that way, because if you can't do that, this is going to be a long night.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with you. You need to lessen up the amount of chip and chases when going coast to coast on the zone entries. That you want to have more setups when functioning along 2-on-2 rushes, 3-on-2 rushes. Yeah. Hey, even some more odd man rushes would do if you get the opportunity.
So we'll see if they can make the adjustment. Again, there's not much for us to tell you as far as what happened in this game. Again, Nathan McKinnon, if you joined us early, 56 seconds from the no-look back pass, little nutmeg, Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid. Again, that was an immediate high-sticking penalty for Willie Nylander against Nathan McKinnon. We talked about how dangerous the power play line can be. Ian also mentioned, just like we talked about, in the next step, you can put Connor McDavid, Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon all on the same line. That's what they did. They scored about as quickly as you possibly could as we're watching this one from the Bill Center. 8:30.
I think they might have scored quicker than that first power play goal the Wings had against the Lightning.
Yeah, if you talk about how dangerous the Red Wings power play has been, Ian, this one is on steroids.
Yep.
So we're getting a little bit of an interview there from Jackie Redmond, and alongside the Swedish head coach and Sam Hallam. Again, it's a D-zone draw for Sweden. That was badly needed to be won. 8:25 left to go. The first shot board is 5-0 Canada. Get an opportunity now for Jesper Bratt. We'll take this one D to D. Got to shoot this one. Lost it there for a moment. Now sent toward the net. And this one was a good chance for Eriksson Ek, but he couldn't get the puck to hit the stick. As this is back around the inboard, the money line's already minus 620 for Canada. So you'd have to bet a whole hell of a lot just to make anything. So they're already kind of telling you that this game is over, but it's really just getting started. So Gustav Forsling have to take this one now from a zone end from right to left. He'll make the sail pass all the way inside the zone, and now Jordan Binnington will bounce this one in off the Swedish defense. And Canada can probably get something here. Sam Reinhart off the touch. And this will go back around for McDavid off the curl. It'll go D to D. Here's a shot toward Gustafsson. That'll go wide. Now sent back now for Doughty. As this will be recollected now, Reinhart will go ahead and make the drop pass along the inboards. And now Sweden still looking for their first shot on goal. How many times are we going to have to say that? I feel like I need to. As this is taken away, Shea Theodore able to shadow. And now Canada. And alongside the LA King and Drew Doughty, chip this one in. Again, this is their puck right now, playing at their pace. Canada, they're just feel like they're having a practice. As this one goes toward Gustafsson off the pass, it did not hit Cirelli. He'll hold.
It just feels like a Canada practice session. You know it perfectly. They're just having their way with Sweden, no matter where they are on the ice. It's Sweden. They did have their best chance earlier when it was set up for Joe Eriksson at the net front when he was looking to redirect that. Trying to take away the vision from Jordan Binnington. He almost tapped that one at the back of the net, but that was pretty much the only chance that Sweden had. Where's this been?
Exactly. We're gonna need to see more of that little backhanded push from Marchand. This one goes toward Gustafsson, and this will be recollected now by Sweden. See if they can get something off of this possession. Philip Forsberg, he's got 3 players in his face. As he tries to take that in, it's a 2-on-1. Cross pass and a goal! It's Marchand for a point, and Canada's dominating.
The quality of play just speaks for itself from Canada. They're having their way from start to finish on this period, and so far it looks like Sweden is in a bit of trouble. A 2-0 lead doesn't seem that big, but given how Canada has played, it might as well be 4-0 right now. When you look at the shot difference, 7-0 Canada. Sweden tried the entry, but I feel that they should have passed to the right if you want to set up that entry. That was the mistake that Sweden made. And then they get caught on an island the other way. Philip Gustafsson, if he goes left, there's going to be a pass towards Marchand. If he goes right, then Braden Point's going to shoot that. What was he going to do there? He was trapped all alone in Iwan.
That's perfect analysis there, Alec. I'm glad you're on board with it because you're right. There's 2 goals against Philip Gustafsson. You could have put Marty Brodeur or whoever you wanted back there, any legends. Those were not going to be saved. He needs some help. Sweden needs to be able to get in the zone. They're not been able to do it. So Brad Marchand with his first. Nathan McKinnon's already got one. And this just feels like, let's just say Godzilla versus a random ant on the ground. I mean, this is not what I expected for Sweden. Again, Alec and I lean toward Canada winning this one. Maybe 4-2, 4-3. Try to see if this could be close, but just no puck entries again. Forsberg gets it lifted, and this goes back in here for Canada. Long wrister get it blocked. Canada now able to keep it in. McCart, this one gets tipped. And now we'll see if Sweden can find anything with speed and toward the boards. Ricard Raquel trying to push it in. So Seth Jarvis going to get the secondary assist from Point, as this will be nice back skate there for Canada. Able to get the steal. And now Stone will just shove one in the corner, take a change as he made a hit. And now, inexcusably, Canada's going to get their own dump in here with Sam Reinhart, as he's able to kill some time. That was a 2-on-1, almost winning the puck now. Battle for it. Connor McDavid gets cross-checked, and alongside for Dahlin, as the crowd continues to boo, as you imagine that they would. And now, Sweden just goes offside with the stick handle. This is getting ugly.
Well, McDavid, he did a little cross-check motion first. So you would imagine that cross-check from Rasmus Dahlin was a little retaliatory. But that dumper from Canada and Sweden does not even touch up on the puck. That's inexcusable. I don't care if Sweden was a little late to the reaction. You got to hustle there if you want to pick up the puck and get it down. You need goals badly. You allowed the first 7 shots on goal, and you only have 1 shot on goal. That's inexcusable from Sweden.
I'm not going to change, and I know you won't, Alec, as far as my excitement for this tournament. You and I said the right thing about Canada being the favorite, and less than that. We agree. I don't think we're going to see anything like this between USA and Finland tomorrow. I'd bet my life on that.
You would imagine that we would believe that more games were going to be tighter as it goes along. Hockey's better when we have more tight games around.
So we'll see what ends up happening with Sweden. But right now, I've kind of given you some of my looks as far as what I'd like to see them do. Alec has as well. Doesn't look like Sweden has the answers. And when the second period hits for Alec a chance to take over here, we'll see if anything does change. Right now, it doesn't seem like it's going to. And that would be an absolute shame. And for Philip Gustafsson, I can't help but feel a little bit sorry for him, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because Philip Gustafsson, you would imagine that he gets more help around. Sweden's basically doing nothing to help him out. He's basically getting hung out to dry, and as such, it's been their most important piece. They need everyone to step up, including William Nylander, Philip Forsberg, Mika Zibanejad. Adrian Kempe, who I mentioned about 40 goal scorers. Hedman's holding his own at the defensive zone. So is Forsling and Darlene. Where's the offense? Where's Nylander? Where's Patterson? Where's everyone?
Yeah, it's been non-existent right now. MIA. Again, we mentioned McKinnon on a far play from Crosby and McDavid, and then a 2-on-1. Seth Jarvis with the entry pass, able to sit up point to Marchand. And Alec mentioned it, Gustafson, he could have went right or left. He would have got scored on by Point or Marchand. He went for the ladder off the cross. Marchand got the easy one there. And the 3 crowns for Sweden. We need to find something else. Are we going to get any sort of retaliations? We're going through the camera shots and alongside for McDavid in the mix. Again, I agree with Alec. It was a little more retaliatory, but we will stick exactly as we are with 5:34 left to go in the first. Again, the ESPN box, and now the TNT box has changed it back from 1 shot back to 0. So Sweden still does not have a shot on goal, and we're almost 5 minutes left to go in the first. Let that sink in. As this one's now sent in along the inboards now for Gustafson. Back now for EP40. See if he can get anything going. Again, JT Miller was traded from the Vancouver Canucks. We'll look at another Pedersen in the mix. Here's a cross and a beautiful defensive play off the shot block. It still denied Sweden of any chances. We got 5 minutes left of this first. John Under with you alongside Alec Nava. We're in the Bell Center in Montreal. Opportunity now. Marner trying to finish his hit. As it'll be Shea Theodore. Sweden. Got to get something on net here. Forsling shoots and a Binnington with 4:45 left. A Bronx cheer from the crowd as he has to make a glove save.
It took that long for Sweden to get a shot on goal, but a beautiful block by Sam Reinhart to cancel out a Sweden pass that would have otherwise been a goal. As Jesper Bratt from the right circle, he wanted to go to his man who seemed to be wide open at the left side, Matthias Ekholm, but Reinhart was right there all over like it's a Stanley Cup final all over again with Reinhart blocking off Ekholm. Panthers and Oilers, anyone?
Yeah, it's a good call out there, Alec. Again, you talked about the importance of the defense and everything else like this. Again, the players, they knew what was at stake here as far as Sweden not getting any chances. They want to make sure that they keep it at a minimum and make a Binnington's night as easy as it can be. This is now toward the right sideline. See what Sweden can do. This will be stick lifted. Sweden now still trying to battle for it toward the right side of red line. Here's a long shot. This will get deflected in between the Canadian defense. Able to keep this one alive, and now Sweden with a little bit of pressure. As this is back now alongside for Crosby. It took 3 players to dispossess him of the puck. And now off the one-on-one, Philip Forsberg trying to do too much. As the rest of the players are taking a change, and now Colton Parayko, St. Louis Blue will send this around the inboards. This will be chipped in deep. Jonas Brodin have a chance to start again from a zone in. Brodin almost loses it to Anthony Cirelli. And now a little roll ahead. Easily picked off by Canada. It's been too much of that. As far as the entries, again, not enough skill. It's just trying to force that puck in the corner and chase it, but they're not even in position to chase it. So it just doesn't make much sense. 3:40 left to go in the first. As this is toward the left side red line. This will be stopped by Binnington. Hey, maybe I can say this. Sweden's just hoping for Binnington to misplay the puck behind the net to maybe get a goal. If that's the case, it will be a long night. As this goes toward the right side, a little double deflection. Sweden's there. Chance to try to get something with speed now. Here's an opportunity off the drop, little toe drag and curl, little dispossess off the back check, and now Canada try to push away toward the left side boards off the spin and turn. Gustav Forsling will work as it's back home. We'll try to get this one ahead. Good intercept for the moment. Sweden have to start again in their own end, and they'll do so. Rattle it around the embankment. Bennington will put a stop to it. Sweden now try to take a D-to-D. That one was a little bit tough to handle there and around the end boards. This will be a long shot. This one goes intentionally wide off the end boards. Sweden now will get a chance to pick this one back up. It's Lucas Raymond, the Forsling. Little glove save from distance for Binnington.
Sweden's not getting enough. As Jordan Binnington, he's only had to have light work of himself. Just 2 saves, both in the final 5 minutes. That's how good Canada is on the defensive zone. Colton Parayko's doing his job, and so are the other guys. Shea Theodore is doing his job to hold up. Sam Reinhart, you mentioned 2-way defensive aces. And Anthony Cirelli, who is not only just defense, he can score too. Same thing with Brandon Hagel.
Yeah, they're so good on the sense of it. Like, again, I know they don't normally play on the same line in Tampa, but you got Braden Point, Brandon Hagel, and Anthony Cirelli, and you're able to break them up essentially on the third and fourth line. I mean, that's really hard to match up with.
It is, knowing that they're familiar with John Cooper.
So, Mitchell Marner, we're able to get this one ahead now. Connor McDavid already out there again. He has been terrific, as you expect him to be. This one turned over. McDavid in tight, tried to toe drag. I don't see a penalty hand in the air. He just ran out of room. Colton Parayko, he's able to get that pass across as this goes toward the right side. Now a little stick chop, as this will be Sweden try to get this one ahead right into Canada's defensive zone. Canada now will gain the red line. Does Josh Morrissey, the Winnipeg Jets. We got a minute 55 left to go here in this first. Because of Benajab. We'll play this one in behind the goal now as a little touch pass gets picked off by Adrian Kempe. Turns it over. Crosby was right there to steal it. Kel McCarr. As Crosby's now on the off wing. This is toward the right side boards, and this will be rolled in ahead for Carlson. Eric Carlson will send this one ahead, and Canada's right there for Kel McCarr. He could turn on the burners if he wants to. Kel McCarr tried to leave an outlet pass, as this is right in between the Four Nations Center Ice logo. Here's Sweden. They'll take the slap shot clear around the end boards. Binnington will slowly stop the vulcanized rubber. This is now back in behind his cage near the left side post as he's in the butterfly. Now Kel McCarr get a chance to start this one. Canada will try to clear this one across the red. Sweden will pick it off. And now Elias Pettersson on the back skate will let his forwards. And now he'll take a change. Everybody's going to get fresh troops here for Sweden and try to get things going. Rasmus Dahlin will brush into the corner to corner. Now Binnington will stop it. He lost his stick in the process, but he should have enough time to go ahead and pick it up. The Sweden's in their own end. 45 seconds left to go. The only thing that Sweden has is a couple of point shots, and they just took another shot on goal away. Could have had 4. They only got 1. It's 7-1 on the shot board. Good seam pass up a 3-on-2. And this is taken away from Hagel and Cirelli. Sweden now will think about it in their own end. Let some more forwards take a change as Rasmus Dahlin will get this one back at from Gustav Forsling. Find the entry near the right side. Here's a long shot will be held by Binnington. They've got to win this draw here with 17 seconds left.
Win this quickly. Get a quick shot on goal. Hope that Jordan Binnington does not see it. Try to get some body positioning in front. Set up someone who can be specializing in going towards the net front and get your advantage there.
Good back check there for the Swedish defense on the camera shot is off, but I talked about a little bit earlier with McDavid in tight. Otherwise, he probably would have scored from the forehand backhand. But that's exactly the situation Sweden finds themselves in, needing to get this draw. They can't do so near the left side red line in Canada. Able to send this one down the ice. It's not far enough for an icing, nowhere near. And 8 seconds left. Entry to the right wing side off the drop. This is Jesper Bratt gets brushed in the corner, trying to send it toward the net. And Sweden's going to run out of time. They're only down 2. I guess that's the one positive you can say. The shot board's only 7-3. They need to regroup here. Canada, I don't even think, Alec, we're operating at maybe a 65% on the engine. They could probably even do more. It looked a little easy for them.
It's free real estate for them. Connor McDavid, Brad Marchand, Nathan McKinnon, they're all having fun. The ice for Sweden is about getting back onto your game for these next 2 periods. I wonder what Sam Hallam's going to say in the locker room for any adjustments in the second period they were to get back into this game. Canada's up 2-0. That's the good news. But it felt like they were at 80% of their full power for the way through. Defensively, they were solid. Offensively, they were in sync.
Yeah, I mean, there really isn't any more to be said. Again, we'll give you a little bit of the stats, and then we're going to go across the landscape here. But Nathan McKinnon on the power play from Crosby and McDavid, 56 seconds in. Brad Marchand and Seth Jarvis lead the 2-on-1. Braden Point Marchand cross pass. Philip Gustafson, 5 of 7. Jordan Binnington, just 3 of 3. Again, the time on ice was a little bit more changed in the mix of now Gustav Forsling as the top line pairing, but it was all Victor Hedman to start, as we talked about that. He was at 8:07. And ice time, as I'm looking at here, Alec, is pretty dispersed evenly across the board for Canada, which is exactly what you want. we've already kind of profiled everything else as far as what needs to be done. But let me just give the shots real quick. 7-3 for Canada. Hits are 5-4 Sweden. Faceoffs are 9-8 Sweden as well, and just the one power play for Canada. The one thing I will say in this tournament, I'm not expecting it to be overly physical. I don't think players are going to go out of their way to try to injure, and I don't mean it that way, but not play too heavy until we probably get to next Thursday, which is the championship game.
Yeah, the round robin is going to be more of the regular season style of hockey. When you get to the championship, that's when the intensity is going to be ramped up to 100. More physical, more punishing. If you can survive that, then you'd be in good hands for the future down for the line.
So we could take this any which way, Alec, and I don't want to try to steal any topics or throw anything across the board that you don't want to talk about, but it's been a while since we worked together. And the big one on my mind is just like everyone else that thought about it. What did you think about the Luka Doncic trade?
Oh, I have no words to say about that. Just what in the world just happened? That was the first thought that came to mind. Even Shams Charania thought that his phone got hacked when he reported that because neither Luka Doncic nor Anthony Davis were on anyone's trade blocks. We were expecting Jimmy Butler and De'Aaron Fox, and in fairness, those were the big trades that we anticipated. We got that. But none of them were as big as this. This one took the cake for perhaps the biggest trade, potentially, John, in modern sports history. You get Luka to Los Angeles, and you build for the future around him. Anthony Davis is on his own right, being one of the best defenders in the NBA and a two-way superstar on both ends. But Luka is a top 5 player in the league. This kind of trade doesn't happen usually. This is a once-in-a-lifetime trade here. This is, by far and away, the most significant trade for the Lakers, and they finally have a contingency plan after LeBron.
Oh, my God. It was 11 o'clock at night. I had just come home from work. I'm like, okay, let's see what the NBA scores look like to now. What the bleep? Hello? Hello? Is this? No. There's no way I'm gonna sleep on this. I'm gonna wake up in the morning. Okay, let's see. Nope, it was real. It was real. Shams did not get hacked. And Nico Harrison, how are you still in Dallas?
That's the thing for me. And now, like, again, I know Mark Cuban, I don't believe he's no longer the owner of the team. He sold that stuff out, so it's Nico Harrison's opportunity. And look, I could say this, and I'll be objective here first and say that we know that Anthony Davis is a great defensive player. It's really unfortunate already in the first game he already got injured, so it doesn't make Dallas fans any happier. But he's a capable scorer, incredible defender, and some of the stuff for Luka with the weight gain and some of the other soft tissue injuries and this and that, they can say that they want to have a little bit of a change because they're not comfortable giving him a $320 million plus supermax. Fine. That's all well and good, but you still have to explain to the fans why you traded for a 32-year-old. You didn't keep your 25-year-old. You started getting rid of all the other people that Luka actually likes and then trying to really just aggravate him. And then the trade that's made is a phone call between LA and Dallas when none of the other teams are involved, and it almost feels like I shouldn't even say almost, it feels like a sweetheart deal. It just doesn't make sense. And then it really hurt my heart a little bit, and I imagine, Alec, it's probably the same for you, that Dirk Nowitzki goes all the way down to LA to go ahead and watch Luka play for a team that's all been about loyalty, and the Dallas Mavericks, it really didn't feel like they had Luka's back there.
I mean, sorry, Alec.
Oh, that really pained me to see that Luka, he took the Mavericks to the finals last season.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the important part. How that trade happens and it went down is beyond me. That you get him over to a team that's been blessed with superstar after superstar after superstar. He gets to play in the grandest stage of basketball now. He's going to live out his dream. Dallas, what are you doing? I get that Anthony Davis is good in his own right, but in no way do you make this trade.
No.
And let's also not forget, as great of a player as Anthony Davis is, he has one very glaring and really, it would be the tipping point for a trade by anyone who is competent as a general manager. He's made of glass. His injury history is known throughout the league. Yes, he's still a great player. The problem is he can't. That's when he's on the court, and he can't seem to stay on the court. And
No.
I want to bring this to your attention, fellas. Out of all the sports shows that are on, I watch First Things First with Nick Wright, Kevin Wildes, and Chris Broussard because I feel that is the show where you go for analysis with a little bit of comedy because they have such great chemistry. They reacted to an article where they reacted to quotes made by either the owner of the Dallas Mavericks or Nico Harrison himself. And they were talking about the great players who worked hard, namely Jordan, Bird, Kobe, and Shaq. And Nick Wright, he had a look on his face because he said, you're talking about guys who, quote, worked hard, but you gave those 4 names. And all of them in their own right did work hard, except obviously they forgot that Shaq got worked into shape by playing the first half of the NBA season. There was only one off season where he got into shape, and that was when he was with the Heat, because Pat Riley told him, if you don't show up in shape, you're sitting on the bench. Larry Bird played in an era where these guys would smoke and drink in the locker room before games. Like, listen, they put in the hard work, they worked hard, except, let me tell you, not all of them looked fit. Some of the greats looked like slobs. Some of them looked fat, but they were still great.
There's a lot to digest. And I'm not going to sit here and say that the stuff for Anthony Davis isn't justified or unjustified, because I agree with you in the mix of all that. But again, it comes down to when you go up to make the trade to get Luka Doncic, to move up third to be able to draft him, and then you don't hold on to him, that is absolute lunacy, because you're never going to get a player like that again. You were blessed, I think, outright to be able to move up after the Dirk Nowitzki retirement to get Luka, and then you have the keys to the car in the franchise for the next 15 years, and you threw it away. That's really hard to digest.
And I talked about this with Alec, or I believe I talked about this with you, John, where, okay, if you were going to make that trade, you needed to get the type of package that the Sacramento Kings got for trading De'Aaron Fox. 3 first-round, probably more, because the Kings netted 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and a bunch of other stuff and a bunch of other players to fill in the depth there.
And Zach LaVine.
Zach LaVine. They have the resources to plan ahead for the future.
Yeah.
And Nico Harrison had said, okay, we're going to trade Luka, but when we trade him, we're going to take a big chunk out of the team's franchise that we trade him to. For instance, if he got 3 first-round picks plus pick swap, basically what the Thunder did with Paul George and Russell Westbrook, I wouldn't be that mad, because at least you have the resources to come up with a plan to secure your future. Instead, You say you want to win now, except you traded for the wrong guy.
And I'll put a close to this real quick because I know that Alex is going to get set to take over here. You still don't even know what Kyrie Irving's going to do. So, yeah, you might lose everything. So that was a big risk. I know we'll go across the NBA scoreboard and everything else, too, in the second intermission because pretty much every game is on tonight. I was utterly shocked, and I know it's the Bulls. I don't want to try to say too much, but I'm pretty sure the Pistons almost won by 45 last night. And then they get an opportunity to go ahead and play again against Chicago in the home and home. So hopefully they can get another win and stay above that playoff line because right now I see they're in 6th.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, the Pacers are losing to the Wizards. Laugh at the Pacers.
9-44 are the Wizards. Wow.
Yeah. It's bad.
Oh. Mind you, they just got Chris Middleton from Milwaukee and trading away Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah. Wow. Man, oh man. Yeah, that's a rough season. Again, I know what that's like, so hopefully that can be fixed, but it's been a while like that in Washington, so we'll see how long that continues. Again, the Spurs, you talked about that. I think that's a perfect trade for them when you have De'Aaron Fox and Victor Wembanyama. So that's going to be pretty dangerous across the board. And there'll be a lot to look forward to there.
We're seeing a little Wayne Gretzky blue jersey in the NHL and TNT sets from what I just saw.
That's what I saw as well. Again, they have Sweden plus 750 in this tournament. Right now, I think you're going to have to give us a little bit more of a number after what we saw in the first. And this tweet's pretty good. That must have been like seeing Lemieux, Gretzky, Messier. Just insane how fast and easy that puck moved. I think that tweet pretty much emphasizes what we saw in that first period, Alex.
Yeah, it's a little throwback to those days with Gretzky, Lemieux, all those Canadian legends. Now you get to the current era with McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon. They're in good hands.
Yeah, they are. And again, at least I know, Alec, this isn't the same thing as far as World Juniors, but they were heavily criticized as they probably should have been, at least a little bit on my end as well, as far as their roster construction. If Canada ends up making a deep run and winning this thing, I don't think anybody's going to be talking about that now. They won't even mention the goaltending team.
Yeah, they won't mention about roster construction again if Canada does win the whole thing. Because I heard a lot of criticism about why is Logan Thompson not one of the goaltenders? Or
right.
Mackenzie Blackwood, Darcy Kemper. There's criticism about the goaltending department. Or, in another case, defense. Evan Bouchard, who was left off the roster for his offensive capabilities, given that he's one of the best power play quarterbacks and one of the best offensive defensemen. I felt Canada wanted to go up a more defensive route in constructing this roster. Drew Doughty wasn't exactly the guy that I had in mind, given that he's just coming back from injury, playing just 6 games this season. But he's still a leader, being part of that Kings core that won 2 Stanley Cups in 3 years. Ideally, would have went with Mackenzie Weegar, but Doughty's another good choice.
No, I agree with you. I think that's the exact same name I would have used, and it's not just because we covered a lot of the Calgary games either in the Knicks, but Drew Doughty just got back, as you eloquently said. And again, we know about all the past productions. I kind of think Drew Doughty can use this as his way to work back in the NHL from the break. So I think he's happy with where he's at.
Yeah, he should be.
I am glad that Colt Borrego is getting an opportunity to play on a national TV scale, because his season is his career season is getting buried because he's on the Blues, and the Blues are, well, yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't getting a lot of talk about being on Team Canada's roster until weeks before because of his defensive play and his physicality. He can kill off penalties too.
Yeah. Again, I was in there alongside, I know Alec and Ian, you've worked a lot together. Ian's joined me in the last couple of broadcasts, and he mentioned the same thing. And maybe mentioned the possibility of a trade, although there would be a lot for Doug Armstrong and other GMs to have to take in for dollars in, dollars out. But he might be one of those guys that teams would love to add if they could.
And I know, speaking of teams, we talk about prospects and trade deadline talks. Well, we saw an upset over at the Beanpot with Boston University beating Boston College. BU was ranked number 9 in the NCAA. They just beat BC 4-1 for the Beanpot. Cole Hudson, Brandon Svoboda, Cole Eiserman, Gavin McCarvey. Of course, Hudson and Eiserman are going to get the talks because they're two of the top prospects in the NHL. Those were the 4 goal scorers for BU in their upset win over BC in the Beanpot.
And Alec, I just got to say this. You mentioned Cole Hudson and Eisman. I saw them in the WJCs, but especially for Cole Hudson, he is absolutely ridiculous, Alec. And I would have to imagine anyone else in Montreal, I know they've been cooling off of late. If they can get Lane and Cole on that same line, look out.
Just got to swing a trade with Washington to make that happen, John.
Yeah, you're exactly right. I didn't think about that. That's my bad. But yeah, Bill Guerin, now the general manager of Team USA, so he's getting part of the looks. Alec's going to get set to take this one over for us. I hope that you have a much better free-flowing second period.
Hopefully this goes a lot better than the first period, because the first period was total domination. See if Sam Howland has adjusted his strategies here in this second period as both teams take the ice. You got 2/3 of the Nova Scotia products on the ice. Crosby and McKinnon, best friends together. Brad Marchand's on the bench. He is on the third line up against Mika Zibanejad's line. And here we go. Alec Nava, John Ott, Ian Genge. Second period's underway. Canada in the red uniform, Sweden in the yellow and blue. The Tricolor back at their own end. They're still having some trouble. Canada's moving from right to left. Sweden from left to right. Sweden's a designated home team as it's McKinnon, who cycles it back over to the right point. Misplayed it for Devontae's with Cale Makar. He instead decides to shoot this towards the back of the ice. Gustafsson leaves it for Brodin, who set it up over the right side for Zibanejad. Chips it forward, gets slowed down once by Taves. Battle for it at the near corner. Raquel was also there. Was a last-minute replacement after William Karlsson withdrew. McDavid can't get around Mika Zibanejad is once again by the penalty box doors. Canada tries another re-entry. McDavid got stick lifted by Zibanejad. Good timing there as Raquel gets it ahead. No further. Here's McDavid. He's the best player on the ice in that first period. We'll see what he does here in the second. Up ahead for McDavid with steam. McDavid fires and is stopped by Gustafsson.
I think Sweden's going to live with that more so than anything else. Again, you don't want to give up those seam passes and let McDavid get shots, but the fact that they were able to keep him away from the goal crease and have Darling make him pivot one time was probably just enough.
In a long stretch feed, nonetheless, between Makar and McDavid. We saw these two go up against one another in the Western Conference Final in 2022. While Colorado won it in a 4-game sweep, the McDavid showed the hockey world what he can do on one of the grandest stages of the game. Morrissey chopped this one ahead. Sweden back up with this over the far half boards and is dumped in. Parayko the first to scoop it up. Right around for the near side of the boards. Held in by Victor Arvidsson, former Nashville Predator, current Edmonton Oiler. For the near side, chopped out by Canada, and chasing after it is Sweden. Not enough for an icing. It's just short. Shoved towards the wall was Ekholm. He was a little bit dazed up by that. Elias Lindholm moves it up. It's a race for the puck at the far corner. Morrissey got ahead of Arvidsson. Les Rouges pick it up. That's the nickname of Team Canada, at least in the men's national team for soccer. Turnaround shot went wide of Jordan Binnington. Back deep is Erik Karlsson. He looked for deflection and went right onto Binnington. Made 2 saves in a row. But that's something that Sweden was needing so desperately. Forsberg set this in, raced for the puck, and Colton Parayko was that was dumped in from behind the red line, so they'll ruin an icing. And Team USA had dinner with some of the USA legends, including Mike Modano, Guy Gaudreau, and some members of the 1980 Miracle team, Mike Eruzione and Rob McClanahan.
That's just good to see Guy Gaudreau in that photo, isn't it, Alec?
Oh, yes, it is. Refreshing.
That's such a great photo that they showed.
And they kept the locker room stall for the late Johnny Gaudreau. That's a nice tribute to Johnny Hockey for Team USA as Canada wins this face-off. Onto the right circle as this is a little mishandled. Doughty, a blast! And this went over the net. That was so close. And it's collected at the near corner. Canada looking to restart with this once again. This went right by Seth Jarvis, but continues to be held in. Right around to the left point. Almost went up and over there as Sweden gets this one back out. Marchand restarts. It'll be slapped in deep all around from the far to near boards. Smash over to near quarter. 2 Canadians and 2 Swedes. Pettersson goes down as they are all fighting for the puck. Point was on John Cooper's Lightning. Lost it. Carlson can't handle it. Marchand could, but could not any further. Jarvis helps him out. All the way back to the right point, and then right around over to the near quarter where Marchand's there. Last remaining member of the 2011 Boston Bruins team that won the cup. Far quarter, now cross ice for McKinnon as he could not handle that puck. At the far half boards, Bratt stick this one away, and the Deconar will restart. Sweden can't get anything up with this, but this is a small yet nimble Jesper Bratt on the ice who collects this. Miss his point to pass, and this will go all the way back for Philip Gustafsson at the trapezoid, who leaves it behind for team captain Victor Hedman. Chopped ahead. Eriksson couldn't handle it. Raquel could, and banked this off the boards for Eriksson, who slaps this one around. This might have went out of play, and the stoppage is held.
Looks like Theodore and Kempe in the contact. Shea Theodore might have got something up in the hand that's bothering him. He's going into the dressing room.
Yes, he got into a headlock in a battle of Adrian Kempe, and he is, yes, indeed, he is going to the dressing room to check up with medical staff for to see what is the element with him. Seems to be the hand, maybe that wrist area. We'll get the diagnosis later as the recent reports from Darren Pang and Jackie Redmond. So they'll be down to 5 defensemen. Remember, they are playing without Travis Sanheim, who is a healthy scratch for this game. See Peter DeBoer, the head coach of the Dallas Stars, on the bench. He is one of the assistant coaches for Canada. And Sweden gets this one forward on the setup in front, and Binnington could not see it. It's behind him. Sweden turns it over. Canada trying to get this one out by any means necessary, but Sweden continues to hold. So far, Sweden's playing much better here in this second period in comparison to that first period as this puck is stopped. Offside.
Yes, it is, Alec. And again, it's 3 shots on goal here so far for Sweden, nothing for Canada, as we're getting another camera shot into that collision, as you mentioned, in between Kempe and Theodore, a little bunched up on the hands. We talked about it with Travis Sanheim. He's that healthy scratch. Should Theodore not come back into this game, you would expect Sanheim to jump in next time they play.
You would expect so. If Travis Sanheim is up and ready, he is available. He's one of the best defensive defensemen for Team Canada. Sure, he's on the Flyers, but the Flyers aren't doing so well themselves. Onside entry, Canada is back in. Chop this one forward on a backhand flip. It's gloved down towards the near half boards. Collected by Reinhardt, who fires. Kicked out by Gustafsson. Closest chance that Canada has gotten in this period so far. Sweden might have iced this, and they do, as the whistle was blown by one of the referees.
Yeah, there haven't been too many tough saves for Jordan Binnington. He really could have had a pillow there in the first. I'm glad to see he's awake and astute because he had to be there on Reinhardt's chance short side. He got a lot on that wrister. Yep.
Yeah, Chris Rooney, Gord Dwyer are referees. Ryan Daisy, Scott Cherry are linesmen. We have an offensive zone faceoff for Nate McKinnon up against Mika. It is won by McKinnon back to the point on a shot that went wide, and then on to the opposite point, collected at the near quarter by Parayko. Behind the net is Crosby. From Gretzky's office, Hedman was there. Conn Smythe Trophy winner against Conn Smythe Trophy winner. They have trophy cases full of awards. Crosby, a member of the Triple Gold Club. Parayko collects it at his own trapezoid, and Canada will move it up. Taves moves to the center, over to Crosby, who received the feed from McKinnon. Now over to McKinnon it is, from a sharp angle, stopped by Gustafsson behind the net, as they're all battling for it. Picked up at the far corner by Eriksson as he braces for contact from Stone. Sweden. And good job by Canada to force an offside.
Yeah, Sweden trying to go for that dump and chase again. It will get themselves offside off that previous drop. You had to Crosby, McKinnon near the left side dot. And a good short side save there alongside for Gustafsson. But Crosby never stopped moving his feet. Still able to draw all that attention, Alex.
At his peak, he is a dominant top liner. Now that he's 37 and still being one of the major face of hockey, And he knows that the next generation is coming, and to get the tutelage of these young stars that are up and rising. Of course, that iconic photo between him and Connor Bedard when Bedard played his first career NHL game. That will be iconic. Sweden is with this. And here comes Lucas Raymond towards the net. Backhander turned away by Bader. Oh my goodness. And that looked like Anthony Cirelli collided into his own net and dislodged it.
Yes, he did. And again, it does put a little bit of a smile on my face here, Alec, that Lucas Raymond able to get that speed. Josh Morrissey able to cut him off just enough to force off the backhand.
Yeah, and Lucas Raymond able to adjust on his backhand. He has his penchant for scoring goals in the clutch, as we saw last season when the Red Wings were going for the playoff push. Now the Red Wings are in a good playoff spot to try and go and take it this year. A good run by Todd McClellan.
Yeah, you and I, when we get back to the NHL part of it, might have to join in on the Red Wings game. We have to selfishly ask you to take the driver's seat.
Who knows? As we have Joe Eriksson on this faceoff, Raymond's on his right wing. Canada wins this one. They go around over to the near half boards, get this one out. Foot race. It's going to be won by Rasmus Dahlin and force another offensive zone faceoff for Sweden.
Man, oh man, you got that coaching staff there in the mix of Bruce Cassidy, Rick Tocchet, and John Cooper. I mean, you just can't get any better tutelage on that side for Canada, can you?
Oh, that is a stacked coaching staff for Team Canada when you have John Cooper, two-time Stanley Cup champion. Of course, the championship experience matters, and Canada has the most championship experience. And the officials are getting the net camera fixed, so they're stopping the play for repairs.
Yeah, we'll not step aside, but we'll just go ahead and take some camera shots here as we're checking this one in the Bell Center again. Alex getting this second period set for us. Looks like Jordan Binnington's all set back behind his crease.
Yeah, he is indeed set, and all the repairs are already done. William Nylander will see Sweden win this faceoff. Carlson sends this one across. It was wide on the shot. Zibanejad can't hold it. Canada picks this one up, and they get this out to center. Just halfway back in this one around. Here comes Nathan McKinnon. Set up pass for Marchand. That was actually Braden Point, but Marchand picks it up. One timer for the slot. Stop by Gustafsson. How many times has he been under siege tonight? That was one of those times when he had to not be asked to do too much. Instead, one timer was stopped right in front of the goal. Zibanejad flips this cross quarter. This will be picked up by Doughty, who will feed it to his teammate, but Sweden's trying to hold it in. That was Hedman. Zibanejad also there. Still up for grabs. Canada able to scoop it up. No breakaway here. It'll be coasted through along at the near side. Seth Jarvis was offside. We get the stoppage, and finally, the ice scrapage.
We get a good look there in the mix of Erik Karlsson. And that pass across for Marchand, just able to get a stick on it before the turnaround. That would have been a cross pass. Could have been 3-0 Canada if not for the defensive play of the Penguin.
That would have been a 3-0 Canada lead had it not been for Erik Karlsson's defensive play. Karlsson's more known for offense throughout his career. To see him make the defensive play that he has, you would figure that for the down season that he has with the Penguins, well, not exactly a down season, but with the seasons he's having in recent memory all throughout, a tournament like this would be beneficial for Erik Karlsson on getting his stock up.
Yeah. Again, you get to rejuvenate everybody in between Crosby and Karlsson, don't you, to be able to get some best on best and then get them pushed in for the second half. Because when you look at the NHL standings, I don't want to try to poke too many needles at you, Alec, but for where the Pittsburgh Penguins are, they're going to need to get going. Again, they don't have games in hand, but with the core that they have alongside that you already know, if they can get some goaltending and get some of the other guys to perk back up, I still think that they can be dangerous.
Down the line, that now you would expect this core to be dangerous with whatever gas that they have left. But if I'm going to be honest, possibly with all the trade rumors around, at the tail end of this core, you would believe that some key pieces may be moved. I'm hearing some Ricard Raquel this, Michael Bunting that.
I would agree with you there, just as long as Sidney Crosby stays a Penguin.
Yeah, I would think so too. Get as much assets as you can to return. Kyle Dubas is working his every day to build the next future of this Penguins team. Of course, you start out with Owen Pickering, then you get Rutger McGroarty from Winnipeg. That was a good trade to make.
Yes, it was. Again, I've seen him a lot in the Michigan side. I feel like he's got a lot of talent, and I'm not just trying to say that with maize and blue glasses. I think he's going to be a pretty good player. And, I mean, hell, just the other day when I covered the Red Wings, I got a chance to see the former Michigan Wolverine, Dylan Duke, score for the Lightning, and I had some mixed emotions about that one.
Oh, a Michigan alum now playing for Tampa. Well, a little bit emotional there. Well, but that can also bring that confliction. But, you know, when you see a Michigan alum, of course, jumping onto it and say congratulations.
Absolutely. I know you'll get set to take this over again. You got Connor McDavid in on the draw. Again, Canada feels like they've settled in, but I do agree with Alec. I think this has been a better second period. It couldn't get much worse for Sweden in the first. See if they can get back into this. They're only down 2.
It may be a matter of time before that happens. Now, Darren Pang did say Charles Barkley texted him tonight during the game to let him know that he is watching this. Good to hear that Chuck is watching in this game. Sweden is moving this from left to right. Final year of the NBA on TNT would be. It's a shame that the NBA on TNT is not going to be around for next season. It's because it's always good to see Charles Barkley. He's an avid hockey fan as well. Sweden with this at the neutral zone, but here's McDavid. Here comes 97 at the near half boards. McDavid tried to center it. Nobody was there. Raymond on the other side. But McDavid, he went coast to coast in a flash. Like, how fast was that? He covered all the ice in about 3 seconds, it appears. One of the fastest skaters in the NHL. We're all to talk about McDavid, McKinnon, hey, maybe even an AHL All-Star who got called up to the Washington Capitals by the name of Ethan Frank, who set the fastest skater record in the AHL at sub 13 seconds. Sent a pass over to the right side, a shot stopped by Gustafsson. That was a dangerous chance for Mark Stone as he was wide open at the right circle. Now here comes Sweden. Could be a 2-on-1. Set up pass right behind for the trailer. Good stick by Devon Taves. Taves grabs a hold of it and then moves it up for McKinnon. Absorbed the hit from Adrian Kempe and sends this for an icing.
I will say this. I know Gustafsson made a couple of those stops look easy, but you just talked about it with McDavid, able to steal it from Raymond. Crosby ended up having to run into the net and get back up. But Gustafsson has been pretty good considering the level of chances he's had to face.
How many times have we seen players get shoved towards the net in this game? It's like the second time now.
There's been a lot of it, Alec.
Yes, indeed. McKinnon will take this face off. Get stick lifted on the draw. This could be a chance for Sweden to get within one. One-timer! And that'll be swallowed up by Jordan Binnington, who faces 4th shot of this period.
The one thing that you noted, like in the mix of all of Jordan Binnington's chances, they've all been from distance. They've not been able to get in front of Canada, the netminder, or crack their defense. The sticks have been in the lanes, and between Carlson and everybody else, they've got to be able to get some danger on Jordan Binnington at some point.
They have to get bodies to the net, send people to the net, and then get shots on towards the net from those positions. Here, Canada wins the faceoff. Taves has it. Delivers it to the right for Makar. Lead pass intended for Marchand. That was deflected off a stick beyond the red line. Played out by Gustafsson. Can't play it, plays it to center. Doughty. Rink wide over to Morrissey. Morrissey leads the way up through center for Braden Point, who went for a little slip and slide. And here comes Forsberg. Forsberg towards the back. Kempe had to intercept it for him, but Sweden picks it up again. Forsberg on his back end. Forsberg from deep. Blocked in front. Brodin will keep this one alive. Sweden with this. Can't send it to the front as Forsberg went down. At the far side, Leroux just pick it up. Jarvis tied up by Forswing. Jarvis trying to get around as he shoved away Forswing, but that only allowed Dahlin to pick it up. Dahlin finding Elias Pettersson at the near half boards. He flips this to Binnington, who will cover up with 11:27.
So I know I mentioned a little bit in the first that I didn't think this game toward the round-robin side of it is going to be as physical, but in the second period, we are starting to see a little bit more hitting. We didn't see anything back there with Shea Theodore just yet, so as Alec mentioned, it's still 5 defenders here for the Canadians.
Still no status update on Theodore. Of course, that wrist is what we're focusing at to see if he can return, but so much better for Sweden right now. But they got to send people towards the lower slot. That's where they need to go. Probably a chance for William Nylander to do something. He did win this faceoff, but you got to send it towards the net. Shot went wide intentionally, as Nylander could not pick this one up. At the far half boards, moving it is Cirelli. Cirelli got this from just behind his red line, picked up by Karlsson. Karlsson almost got decked, and Sweden is able to move this one out to center. Taves picks it up, wearing the number 5 because originally the number 7 was to be worn by Pietrangelo before he withdrew. At the far side, this is going to be not icing. It reaches Gustafsson off a weird bounce off the boards.
Yeah, he's going to have to hold that one out because there's plenty of Canadians right there in front of the goal creases. They're getting some highlights there of the physical play. A little more of a shoulder checks is Ekholm, and a lot of those guys got roughed up a little bit. It'll be an ozone draw for Team Canada.
Travis Konecny being one of those as well. He's the definition of an agitator for Brad Marchand type. Small in height, yet they play with so much heart and are bigger than how they appear to be. Tie up on the faceoff. This is going to be collected by Sweden, but Canada holds this one in for a brief moment. Zibanejad gets this one out. Raquel at the far side. Sweden's changing. Raquel waiting for help. Still behold at this puck. Trying to get around for the far side, tied up by Taves. Raymond trying to help him. It's Dowdy fell down. Raymond with it at the far side. Off the boards, over to Hedman. Hedman fighting Brodin. Brodin towards the net, scores! And there it is. Sweden's on the board.
That looked a little unorthodox, didn't it, Mr. Navas? Victor Hedman had to play the carom. His pass probably led Brodin a little bit too far toward that right side post. I'm tracking Binnington's eyes, and he never saw the puck. Hell, I never did, as it went toward the right side of the mesh. I mean, that's a perfect shot up over his head in the butterfly.
And nobody even saw this for one moment. At the near half boards, this actually may have touched Binnington for one split second off his left shoulder pad before it went into the net.
That's a huge goal here, and that might set up some implications as it sits 2-1 with half a period to go. Take it away.
6 free shots in favor of Sweden in the second period. That is of note. Makar, a little dipsy doodle around 2 Swedes. Leroux just needing something back here. This crowd was quieted. Mostly predominantly Canadians as Canada iced this. Just 3 shots in the second period, but there's a lot of ground to make up for that.
Yeah, there is. And again, Canada's still on the driver's seat right now. But, Alec, I guess I can say this, honest. I'm just glad to see that pushback for Sweden. It felt like they were on the back skate all day. And then now they're finally starting to show some signs of life. You can test Jordan Binnington a few more times here, and who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, and Jonas Brodin did exactly that, testing Binnington from a position where his eyes could not see the puck properly. He was partially screened by Sweden, and that's what led to that goal. Halfway point of this second period. Hedman to Nylander. Nylander from distance. That was blocked in front. Raquel fighting for the puck. Held in by Hedman again. Another shot. Tested. Binnington had to hold on to that. It was dangerously in front. There was Brodin again.
That was a really good look. And again, you've been calling for it all night, Alec, to get traffic out front. I thought that was probably Sweden's most dangerous chance. Not what the goal was standing, but it's starting to look better now as they come into the break, and all of a sudden we got some intrigue.
Ricard Raquel at the screen. He actually might have wanted to deflect this one, but I don't think his stick ever touched the puck. Brodin from Hedman and Raymond officially. So good pushback from Sweden to get one back here in Montreal. So there's a positive for them.
Yes, it is. And again, there's still so much time left as we've hit past the halfway point of regulation. Again, you called it with Brodin, Hedman, and Lucas Raymond at the 9:33 marker. Philip Gustafsson, 9 of 11, and Jordan Binnington, 9 of 10. And now that Sweden has scored the goal, I guess I can punch the button again, Alec. A couple of those other saves for Philip Gustafsson, those were pretty big, were they not? Because now Sweden's within a goal. If Gustafsson probably doesn't make a couple $10 there in the first, this could be a 4-1 game.
It could be. If those saves were not made from Gustafsson, then this gets even more out of hand from Canada. Canada was the dominant team. We noted this time and time in the first period. It looked like an exhibition match early, but whatever Sam Hallam said in the locker room in between periods, it's working now.
Yeah, you're playing for pride on the other side. You don't want to get pushed around as much as you did in that 20 minutes. It was about as one-sided as could be, although the shot totals and everything else were low. We're looking at it officially now with the numbers. Shots now 11-10 Canadians, 13-10 hits, 17-16 favor all of them. And just 1-for-1 on the power play. That's the other thing, Alec, that we can see. It's going to probably take something egregious in order to be called right now. So far, Canada's got the advantage there, but maybe I could put the over-under as far as the amount of power plays probably at 4 or less.
Yeah, those amount of power plays that you would say Canada, with all the talent that they have, they do have the advantage on the man advantage. Sweden, with their pushback, they do have a say in this. Penalty killing. We haven't seen a lot of Sweden's penalty kill to get a proper grade for them, as John Cooper is getting interviewed by Darren Pang. It's the second time that he's Canada's head coach. He will be their head coach for next year's Olympics.
I think that's the right call. I know sometimes John Cooper rubs people the wrong way. I think he's absolute consummate professional. I love his quotes. I think he's the master tactician, Alec.
He is. And with the coaching staff assembled, of course, that's going to garner the respect of hockey minds alike. Get back on here. Guess who's out there onto the ice for Canada? None other than the best player in the world right now. Canada 2-1, but Sweden's out shooting Canada 7-3 in this second period. Gustafsson plays it out for Karlsson. Karlsson is watched by CMD. Karlsson steps in front. Karlsson with a long stretch pass, and here comes Sweden looking to tie this game up. Step in the left circle, stopped by Bennington. That was William Nylander who got a chance in tight. Left point, now opposite point. Karlsson. That was blocked in front easily by Mitch Marner. Karlsson had to pick it up once again at neutral ice. Raquel to the open Nylander. Shot that one wide. Airmailed that one the entire way. Raquel and one Canadian go down as they were toe-to-toe with one another. Nylander. This one held in. Karlsson fires, partially blocked by Marner. And this will go back to Erik Karlsson. Tried a rink-wide pass that was blocked off again by Canada. Canada's playing more Sweden's game here in these middle stages of the second period. More defensive. This will roll to Bennington, who chopped it aside from the approaching Sweden attacker. At the near corner, Nyquist fighting for the puck. Marchand picks it up. Over to Morrissey. At the right side, this is Jarvis. Sticked away from Marchand and out to center again. Canada with it one more time. They'll dump it in this time. Gustafsson played it over to the near corner. Brodin there. Jarvis on a tangle up as Brodin hauled him down. Ekholm behind Gustafsson and then in front. Off the near half boards, in comes Sweden again. Towards the side in front at the right circle, Lindholm was intercepted. That pass actually intended to him from Raymond. At the far side, Ekholm chopped it forward over to Bennington. Sticked away by Parayko. Point on a spinorama pass towards the Sweden blue line, and then chopped it over to the near corner. Forsling slammed by Konechny at the wall. Hagel there, trying to find Konechny. Konechny trying to bounce it backwards. Close stop by Forsberg. Then Konechny gets it back, setting it rink wide. Nobody there. Forsling the first is to the puck. Hagel was there, so was Cirelli. Cirelli takes it away, sending the point for Makar. Makar, long shot blocked in front. He gets his own rebound back. Errant pass, sent all the way back to center, and then this was mistakenly across the blue line for Cirelli for an offside.
They're looking at it right now with Jackie Redmond as far as Shea Theodore. He's getting the x-rays, and I don't think he's coming back out, my friend. So that's going to be Travis Sanheim next time Canada plays.
So the x-rays are there for Shea Theodore. They're looking at them right now to see if he can be good to go. Initially, he was ruled as such, but we have to take a further look at that to see if he can be good to go for the rest of this tournament. I would imagine he would be, barring any setbacks. Drew Doughty from his own near corner gets this one out. Forsling slaps this one in on a snapper and collected at the near corner by Morrissey for Parayko. Canada's playing with 5 defensemen as they move this one through coast to coast. McKinnon stops. Now goes rink wide. He was looking for Stone. Backhander off of Gustafsson. Loose in front. How did that not go in? That looked to be dangerously close. They will look at it as the play is stopped.
So Nathan McKinnon, I'm getting a live look at it now, Alec, as this one bounces off of Gustafson. And right at the line, it's Rasmus Dahlin, I believe, as the net was coming off. Dahlin takes the rolling puck and stops it from going across the red line. He just saved a goal.
That may be one of the biggest saves that Canada has had. Rasmus Dahlin bastards away from Nathan McKinnon. Hey, I can play defense too, he says. Do you know about all the defensive presence that Sweden has? Dahlin gets this from the butterfly and scoops this one out. He's the first Swedish defenseman to be selected first overall in the NHL draft. Most points by a Swedish-born defenseman before turning 25. So the future is bright for him. Just got to get the Sabres to the playoffs at one point because it's not looking that way for them.
No, it's not at the moment, as Canada is going to get a chance to play with this puck.
Near corner, driving inside is Cale Makar. He'll take it out over to the right point on a tic-tac-toe for Colton Parayko. Far corner for McDavid. Now all the way back on a slapper. Eaten alive by Gustafson. They'll force a face-off from Parayko.
I know prior to these last couple of possessions, Alec, I agree with you completely. It seemed like Canada was playing Sweden's first period. Now they're starting to turn it on, if not for Rasmus Dahlin with that goal line save. As this is starting to be a pretty intriguing game. I guess Sweden had to sleepwalk their way through the first period.
I guess. But now they are alive and well. If Canada's gained their pound of flesh here on offense here in the second period, it showed that it's not entirely Sweden. Sweden takes this, it'll be 2-on-2. Nylander will send it over to the far side for Raquel. Raquel to Nylander. Oh, that was a dangerous chance in front. They couldn't get that one towards the goal. Long shot in front, blocked. And here comes a partial break for Canada. Here's Crosby, fires it. Fought off by Gustafson. Driven towards the far corner. They keep this alive. Crosby in front. Canceled out. Can't get a clean shot on goal as this is floated around through the far side of the ice. Zibanejad sticks this one away. Sweden pump fakes on the pass once, then it moves ahead. Hedman takes it slowly and then sends it over to the far corner. Nobody there as Parayko will scoop it up. Colton Parayko, teammates with Jordan Binnington with the St. Louis Blues, both members of the 2019 Stanley Cup winning team. Parayko picks it up from his own zone at the trapezoid over for Marchand, one of three Nova Scotia natives. Taken away by Pettersson. Harrison off the side of the cage at the near side. Now a fight for it at the far corner. Forsberg there alongside Pettersson. Loose stick that was Pettersson's, and Canada takes it away. For a split second, Carlson kept it in. Sweden trying to tie this game up. Marchand took it away. Glove down by Sweden. Taking this back ahead is Erik Karlsson, the former San Jose Shark. Karlsson will drop it off for Adrian Kempe, back for Karlsson. Karlsson rink wide to an open man. One-timer is blocked in front. As we flutter back over to Karlsson at the near corner. Fight for this puck. Canada picks it up. And Marchand scopes it up out onto the Sweden zone. Erik Karlsson, he's been out there for a while now. Elias Lindholm gets this down all the way. Binnington gets it to the near corner and onto traffic. And McDavid in trouble. A little stick whipped and Lindholm will play it for Sweden. Feed over to the left circle for a shot. And stopped by Binnington. That was dangerous as he was partially out of his crease. Sweden's having it away now. Forsby trying to find a middle. One-timer, left circle. What a stop by Binnington. One of his best ones yet. And now Canada has a 2-on-2 the other way. McDavid will just send this one down as he was going face-to-face with Dahlin. Forsberg backhand this one away. Raymond sends this to center. To be picked up by Forsby as he'll drive away at the far side. Past Doughty. At the near corner. Fight for this puck as Sweden chops it back inside from the near half boards. Arvidsson holds his line. Hedman could not keep the zone. And this will be with Canada. Sam Reinhold drop it for Taves. Taves waits with this. Nearly 4 minutes ago in this second period. Sweden with the only goal in this middle stanza. Now 4 minutes ago. Towards the far side for Doughty. Now back over across for Taves. As it was gone all the way onside for Hedman. Still no sign of Shea Theodore. Eriksson Ek starts up for Sweden. Raymond taking it inside on a little spinorama is Sweden. As Jesper Bratt tried to take Canada on for a ride. Raymond decks his man. At the near half boards, Konechny takes it away. Over to Morrissey. Morrissey at the near side for Cirelli. Cirelli across under the right circle for a shot in front. Rebound is loose! And there was an open net, but Sweden canceled that one out. Raymond back with this on a 3-on-2. Raymond tucks, holds, fires. Stopped by Bennington. Held inside by Sweden. All the way for the point for Ekholm. Blast one! Bennington got that one too. Canada will try to clear it, and they will do so. This is not a power play, but Sweden is playing like it is one. The Swedes are within one in the shot boards. The Deconar back with this. Raquel, what a move. Over to Ekholm, who will float this one down. Devontae is the first one back. Raquel dared to take it away from him. Raquel still holding on. Raquel pinned by Taves. McKinnon trying to free this puck away for Canada. They have it now. Loose puck is scooped up by Sweden, but Nylander was pickpocketed. At the far side, here comes Sid the Kid. Sidney Crosby, one-timer in front, score! Mark Stone from Sidney Crosby, and the 2-goal lead is restored.
Wow, that was incredible. Actually, you did such a great job, Alec. The back and forth, Lucas Raymond line, Gustav Forsling sets up a wonderful 1T. That stop there on the other side from Binnington. Crosby had a couple breaks. One, he got denied off the long shot. This time, he gets inside-out positioning off the back skid against Forsling. Dahlin can't pick up Stone, and that was blasted 5-hole right through Gustafsson. That was the best back-and-forth action we got all day.
Indeed, non-stop back-and-forth action, just the way this tournament is about. There was a lot of minutes without a stoppage, and Mark Stone made the most of it. The Vegas captain gets Canada up by 2 again, and sends these fans on a frenzy. Now they are loud. Now they are proud once more. Canada wins the ensuing faceoff. To the far side, they lead it up front. In pursuit is Point. 2-time Stanley Cup champ with the Bolts. Had a dispossess him, Dahlin there. At the far corner, Eriksson Ek trying to get it out. Canada not in position to hold the zone. Seth Jarvis restarts a bit. Jarvis centering pass for Point. Mishandled. Marchand there has his pocket picked behind the net. Sweden wants to clear it. Adrian Kempe can't do so. Kel McCarr had it off of him, and Elias Pettersson back with a 2-on-1. Pettersson, he is forced wide of the rink, and then now it's Erik Karlsson. Blast one, Binnington. There was someone blocking it in front. Karlsson keeps his one alive. Ekholm fakes a slapper. Jarvis forces him wide. Ekholm right in front, and Binnington might have gotten a piece of that one. Elias Lindholm fresh from the bench. Onto the left point for Ekholm, staying out there onto the ice. Erik Karlsson looks for a lane. Now fires it. Binnington down! And he kept this one out!
Little snow angel there for Jordan Binnington as Brad Marchand, little push in front of the goal crease. Things are starting to percolate a little bit as teams exchange goals, but Mark Stone's got the latest on a gorgeous setup for Sidney Crosby. I know that's got to make you happy there, Alec, at least a little bit in the mix as we go to break, but I'm so glad that you got the second period in all honesty, because first period was a little bit of a wake-up, second period's been the flow, and I'm really glad, honestly, to see this from Sweden, because they just couldn't do much in that first. Now their offenses get going. Hell, the 4-2, 4-3 that we're kind of thinking this could be, that might end up being exactly where we will be.
Indeed. It's good to see international tournaments and it's like these. You know that all the teams are sharing much of the same hotels around unless they are staying at different hotels. So you get a sense of familiarity of who you're going to be up against. Say what players you're going to face in this international tournament. It's all close together. And John Cooper, who said before this international tournament started, it's most of it like the 2020 Stanley Cup playoff bubble. Everybody was together. Everybody having fun and conversing. But when those games started, it was a war. The only thing that was crazy is there were no fans. Now you have fans in the arenas. It's a packed arena, and the vibes are much different.
Yeah, I really couldn't say that any better, and that's why you got that quote from John Cooper. He's exactly right. Really, the only difference is the fans. We're seeing the quality of play. We're finally getting it. Certainly took a little bit to get started there, but Jonas Brodin in the mix from a shot toward the right side from Hedman and Lucas Raymond made it a 2-1 game. And then Sidney Crosby, the second time, this on a breakaway. He's on the half spin, sets it up for Mark Stone, who's right off of the rush, 1T and right pass. Gustafson 3-1. Gustafson 11 of 14. Jordan Binnington 11 of 12. I will say this, my four eyes tell me, Alec, the Canadian defense has done a great job of blocking shots because those slappers from Sweden probably hurt a little bit.
Yeah, it really does. You have to deal with blasts from distance, and they're going at 90, maybe even 100 miles an hour. That's going to leave a mark.
And Sidney Crosby now getting the profile. Couple absolutely gorgeous assists to be able to set up Nathan McKinnon and Mark Stone, but we've seen that for a long time.
Yeah, in his prime, he does this at his very best. One of those when he set up Chris Letang for the Stanley Cup winning goal in 2016 when the Penguins won it that season. 2 assists, both of them primary assists. A beautiful behind-the-back spin pass for Nathan McKinnon on a man advantage. And then a little partial break from Crosby. Still one of the smartest players in the game. And I'm happy he's getting and he's much more appreciated today. Erik Karlsson set up one-timer at the left side. Was wide. And an intercept here. Not what Sweden was looking for, but Victor Hedman at least has a chance to get this opportunity set up once more. Long stretch pass. Missed this man. And Canada will have a chance to set this one up again. McDavid trying to get a second point at this game. All the way back for the point. It's a little fake slapper from Parayko, who instead fires around for the far side of the boards. Behind the net, Marner got slipped off his feet. No penalty, arm is in the air. Sam Reinhart against Victor Hedman. Right around for the far side and chasing after the puck is Morrissey, the Winnipeg Jet. Morrissey in front, could not find Reinhart. And he'll be taken away by Sweden with 40. Around for Erik Karlsson at the near boards. Karlsson moving up through the ice. Double teamed as he was trying to get something around. Now behind the net for Zibanejad in front. Oh, that was almost a dangerous deflection off one of Canada's own players. That would have been not so welcoming for the Canadians. Now dumped inside by Canada, and the Deconor will pick it up at their own end from Joe Eriksson-Ek. Les Rouges back on defense. At the far half boards near the Sweden bench, Sweden tangled up on the entry, and Canada will possibly run out the rest of the clock as Sweden is trying to generate some pressure. There will not be any as such. And an arm is up in the air. This is not the end of the second period as the arm was up before 0-0.
Yeah, we'll get a one more face-off here, but you called it there in the mix of that back pass as Karlsson was trying to drive the net. The puck actually deflected off of Devin Tays' stick. Fortunately for Canada, it went wide of Binnington's net.
Yeah, that was the fortunate part. That would have been disaster and it got onto their own nets. Don't give nightmares of the own goal by Lafreniere.
Yeah, you don't want to think about that. So the face-off, nothing doing. There wasn't much time to get anything else going there, but I think Canada's going to be happy to still be up by 2. It was a good push by Sweden. Maybe you could say they deserved a little bit more, but it was a rough start for them in the first 20. We're still within 2 now as it's 3-1. I'll be excited to take the first 10 minutes of the third before I throw it over to you. This is probably going to end up being what we expected. It just wasn't what we thought it would be when it started.
Yeah, every sport's full of twists and turns. Of course, This had a little fun spin of twists and turns. The fast start by Canada. Then you've got the constant back and forth in this middle frame. Love to see some pushback from Sweden after a bad first period. Glad they found their game with the first intermission adjustments that they made. They played their game. Tight checking got into Canada's faces. Got more physical, and it paid off in the second period. Now, you noted that most of their shot attempts were from distance. And as such, it wasn't as effective as you would expect them to be when you have most of the shot opportunities from distance. But here, it's working for Sweden now that they're back in rhythm. Now you got to get 2 in the third period.
Yeah, you do. And you said it all right there, Alec, in the mix of it. The only thing, this is just a subjective question for me from what I'm watching, that we can go back in the NBA scoreboard. But as far as the penalties being called and not called, I think it's probably right. I mean, we're probably, if we have to be honest, maybe 1 or 2 could have been put the other way, but just the one penalty in the first period.
Yeah, that was the only difference in terms of penalties as well. If you look at inside that, just very disappointing hockey.
So 14-12 on the shot board, 16-13, and 22-18 on the faceoffs, all in favor of Canada. Giveaways are tied at 11. Takeaways 4-3 Sweden. As this game has been pretty close as far as some of those numbers, but Canada still looks to be the team with the edge. You want to jump in a little bit on the NBA scoreboard because there are a ton of them tonight.
Yeah, we can get to that as well. There are some final scores that the Pacers do survive in overtime against the Wizards, 134-130. How was this even close in the first place? The Obi Toppin with 31 points, 10 rebounds, and the victory. Though Washington did have some pushbacks from Jordan Poole, who had 42 on the night. He had a nice bounce back season for him. Good to see that going around. 5 assists and 5 rebounds for the Poole party.
Yeah, I always thought Jordan Poole was a pretty good scorer in the NBA when you saw it in between Michigan and Golden State and now Washington. I know they have to have somebody score in the mix of it, but I'm glad that you mentioned it. It's been a better season for him.
Much better for him. Another one of those final scores that the Boston Celtics won 116-113. So one of the guys from Patrick Circle, Pat Cass, he actually went to this game and got to watch the Celtics win 116-103 to win for Beantown as Jason Tatum put up 32, 14, and 7 in the victory. Kristaps Porzingis with 29 in the starting 5.
That's absolutely crazy numbers. On the other side, De'Aaron Fox ends up with 23. Victor Wembanyama, pretty cool stat line as he's the unicorn all the way across. That's what Kristaps Porzingis really is too. Just 1 of 6 from distance, but he's got 17, 13, 4 steals, and a couple of blocks for Wembanyama.
So it's the usual for Wembanyama on a casual double-double stat line for him. And Cleveland fends off Toronto 131-108. All 5 members of their starting 5 double digits in scoring. And not one of them got past 21 points. 7 players got double digit scoring. And 5 of them at least 14 points. Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Max Strus, DeAndre Hunter, who they acquired from Atlanta, and Sam Merrill.
And Alec, as I look at that, as you're throwing these numbers across to me, and I'm checking the box score, when I see Cleveland and I see them ready to get going for the playoffs, you know it gets it more individualized, little one-on-one matchups, and the stars have to be stars. But seeing Cleveland continue to get this production all the way across the boards, even guys in off the bench that get multiple points, I think Cleveland's going to be just fine.
They will be.
Well, if we want to talk about a team that's getting if we're going to talk about a team that's getting production from mostly across the board, let's go ahead and take a look at your Pistons real quick, John, because they're having another good night against the Bulls.
It is the Bulls, so I really don't want to get too far ahead of myself. Again, I know that they're missing Jaden Ivey and all that, but Cade Cunningham, I just want to say this again, honest. I'm so happy he got selected, even as a backup or whatever. I'm glad he's getting all-star recognition.
Yep. Cade Cunningham, 26 points. Jalen Duren, 14. Tim Hardaway Jr., 5 points. But Alzar, is it Ozzer?
Yes.
Is it Ozzer Thompson, 15. Tobias Harris, 18. So, except for Tim Hardaway Jr., all the starters are in double figures.
And the only other thing, and then I'll let Alec take over here, I guess it's not changing on the guard, Alec, but I was just glad to hear it because when Trajan Langdon talked about what they wanted to do at the deadline, he said, flat out, honestly, I didn't expect this team to make the playoffs, but credit to the players and credit to J.B. Bickerstaff, and he figured you want to get somebody like Dennis Schroeder because it helps out Cade Cunningham and all that too, but the point I wanted to make was this. Malik Beasley said, please don't trade me. I want to stay here. You don't normally hear that too much in Detroit, so I was glad to be able to hear that from Malik Beasley because he's had a great year.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of Beasley, he has 8 points, so 2 more, and he'll also be in double figures.
So there's that. This is one of the best teams that we've seen from Detroit in a long time. And I'm glad that this Pistons team is finally getting to turn on the groove at the correct opportunity when they see it. This breakout was long due. Kay Cunningham having an all-star season. I'm glad he's finally getting the recognition he deserves. The Rockets hit a skid. So yeah, my guys have hit a bit of a skid. And of course, some young teams would usually hit skids like these as for how good of a season that we've had. 6 straight losses, and then you finally get over the hump of a win and over the Raptors. Yeah, I know it's the Raptors, but you got to get something to get over this losing skid. We're currently in a tight game against the Phoenix Suns, but even for the Suns having a tough year, they're going to be. I feel they are going to always be a tough out because whenever you have Kevin Durant or Devin Booker, or when either one of those two are out, they're always going to be a tough out.
Yeah, they are, and you're exactly right about the Rockets. Again, we saw them a little bit in the tournament and all that too, but you and I and everyone else thinks they're just going to be just fine. Again, young teams, as you said, they go through things like this. Ime Udoka is a great coach. They got a lot of talent. I do think as it comes across, and I know we talked about this before, in the mix of some of the point guard help, they will get that down the stretch of the years to come, and I think the Houston Rockets are going to be just fine. I just think they need somebody like a dominant primary point guard to help kind of drive their offense and keep things stabilized.
That's to keep an eye on continued development of Amon Thompson to see if he can take over at the point guard role. Though I wouldn't expect I was going to say this, but it felt like this losing streak was attributed to the loss of Fred VanVleet. For as polarizing as he is as a player, he's key to this Rockets team, and I felt that his absence was felt.
Yeah, well, if that's the case, Alec, then there you go. Because again, as we talk about some of the stuff in the tournament, it wasn't all that crazy as far as the numbers that he's putting up, but he's one of the guys that actually makes sure that your offense can stay where it's supposed to.
Of course. I know for a fact. Oh, Ian, you want to go ahead?
I'm sorry, I was just taking a look at the scores, and I saw that the Oklahoma City Thunder have come back on the Miami Heat. They were down. Hang on a second.
Yeah, the Thunder, they were trailing in this game by at least 14 points. 16 points if I remember, or 20 points.
Man, I just to say this honestly, I think Andrew Wiggins can do a lot of the same things that Jimmy Butler did, but it feels like as soon as you take Jimmy Butler off the Heat, you take a piece of the Heat away, don't you?
You would believe so as well, that if you take Jimmy Butler off the Heat, then you're missing a huge piece to your core. Even for his age, he can still ball out, and he's going to do so at Golden State. He got his wish because Miami reached their ceiling already with Jimmy Butler, and he's frustrated. He wants to win, and he wants to go to a championship-winning core. I'm not sure if Golden State is exactly a championship-winning core.
So, again, essentially, Alec, from what we're saying for the Jimmy Butler trade, this is probably the last stand for Golden State, you would think?
I believe so. This is Golden State's last stand with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, the two main faces, the two main members left from the championship-winning core they won with those 4 championships. Oklahoma City went on a 21-0 run to take the lead.
Oh, my goodness. I'm glad you said that because I looked up at the box. I was like, what the heck? It is 21-0. Now it's 24.
This is unbelievable.
I've never seen anything like that.
Well,
So,
not close since the Mavericks 30-0 run.
No. The Hawks and the Knicks look like they might go to OT. Again, that one in the last 2 seconds. I'm just glad to not have to see the Hawks because the last time the Pistons played them, he hit that shot from half court. And then the very next night, it was Darius Garland from half court as the Pistons lost back-to-back games. That one was a little bit of a gut punch. Trae Young's 34. And my goodness, Karl Anthony Towns back-to-back 40-point games. He's got 42 tonight.
What looks like a high risk what looked like a very high risk trade in the offseason is paying boons for the New York Knicks.
Yeah. Dude, between Brunson and Towns, they got 72.
Yeah, I was about to say that. And Precious Achua with 24 to add to the high scoring. Dyson Daniels 23, Georges Niang 21, and how fitting, all tied up at 137 in a high scoring shootout. Let the points rain down. More basketball in that game.
And not to mention, I should have led with this too. Not only does Trae Young have 34 points, he's got 18 assists.
That's John Stockton-esque.
What? 18 assists.
18, fellas. Yeah.
I mean, I've heard of players having high rebound games, but that number of assists in a game, that's 2K.
It is.
He's playing 2K tonight.
We're seeing a natural point guard at work.
Yeah, he really is good. He can do everything. He's a threat all over. He can shoot. I'm looking at this. I know it's not a big box score as far as the two teams playing in the Kings and the Pelicans, but I do want to shout out Mr. Keon Ellis off the bench, the guard from Alabama, the 25-year-old. He's got 27 on 10 of 14 shooting and 7 of 11 from distance for the Kings as they got a 2-point lead. And I forgot Brandon Ingram is no longer a member of the Pelicans, as Zion Williamson has 28.
Wow, Zion Williamson actually showed up for a game?
That's the story. And unfortunately, because of the injuries and all the other stuff, that has to be the narrative, because I liked him too, but I was worried that a body type like his and everything else, I know the talent, I just didn't know if he was going to be able to last.
You wonder. And now they're showing the odds of who's going to win Four Nations MVP. The favorites being McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby. I wouldn't rule out Matthews from this either if USA were to win in the whole thing. But nonetheless, if it is Canada and McDavid is the best player throughout this tournament, I would believe it's him. So far, early showings would have me saying Crosby here.
Alec, you're not wrong. I was just going to mention that too, even if you weren't going to. I know it's your favorite player and one of your favorite teams, but Sidney Crosby has looked like the truth, especially in that second period when McDavid was kind of doing all the flybys in the first. Crosby is showing you that he's still right there. And again, you already know this, and so does everybody else with the multiple Stanley Cup championships and the leadership and all of that. And from all the concussions and everything else, when you're worried about his career, that all that stuff has changed. He still looks as good as he did when he first stepped out on the ice, and I'm saying that in all honesty.
He is. You got King Henrik over at Madison Square Garden enjoying the Knicks game.
A lot of good sights that they've been able to show all the way across on TNT. We still got NBA games to talk about in the Knicks because there's a lot going on. The Timberwolves have a 101-99 lead at home. It is 19 for the new Milwaukee Buck and Kyle Kuzma. I am not seeing Giannis Antetokounmpo, so he must have an injury designation here, Alec. On the other side, Naz Reid with 22, Rudy Gobert with 20, Anthony Edwards 28.
Tight scoring game that may come down to who has the better defensive possession at the last moment. That's how I would make my impression out of this.
And we have to check this, and we always will because of the trades. Luka Doncic, 13, 5 of 10. LeBron James with 12, and same thing for Rui. They are down 8 to the Utah Jazz, as Lauri Markkanen has 17 to lead all scorers in this game so far at the half.
I'm surprised that Utah didn't move Walker Kessler at the deadline, given that he's got a lot of some trade talk designations around. But good that Utah kept him because he's vital to their future.
Yes, he is. He's a good player. And on the other side, just one more here for you. Klay Thompson, 14, Kyrie Irving, 11, as the Dallas Mavericks with 10:35. That one's on ESPN. Have a 40-33 lead over the Warriors. Not a lot of scoring here. It's just all the way around the board. But Jimmy Butler does have 6 for the Dubs.
Yeah, the number 10, not usually a familiar number for him. We're used to him wearing the 23, 21, 22, but number 10's new to him.
The Nuggets, let's look at this one now. Jamal Murray cool little 30 spot on 10 of 15, 6 of 10 from distance. Nikola Jokic only having to go 13 points already, but he's already got 11 rebounds and 7 assists as he's on yet another triple-double watch. 12 points for Anthony Simons, and Donovan Clingan, the big man that we watched out of UConn, has 6 for the Trailblazers.
And I know what I'm about to mention is a different sport, but of course, this Sunday, of course, being the biggest day in racing, at least in stock cars, with the Daytona 500. Pole winner Chase Briscoe in his first race with Joe Gibbs Racing. He signed with them after Stewart Haas Racing shut down. He's going to be starting from the pole. The big storyline, Helio Castroneves. He could become the first driver to win both the Daytona 500 and the Indy 500. He is attempting to drive on Sunday night for Trackhouse Racing at the number 91. Could be history on the horizon if Castroneves wins it.
That would be pretty cool to be able to see Castro. I was able to watch that one time when I went and saw the Indy 500. Are you covering any of the stuff on Daytona?
This Sunday.
That's pretty cool. So look out for that on the X space there, and alongside that Inzer Alec. I'll get set here for the third as we're getting settled underway, and then Alec's going to have the back half, and immediately the Canadians will ice the puck. Again, the shot board is a lot more even. It's 14-12 for Canada. Sweden trying to make a press in that second. But again, as we told you, it was Jonas Brodin at 9:33 from Hedman and Raymond. And then Mark Stone, after the Sidney Crosby back pivot, sets him up for a 1-2, puts it right past the net. Philip Gustafson, as Nathan McKinnon can't win that draw. This one is Walker down in front of the defense. McKinnon off the back skate, and now Crosby will take the long left, who's got a couple of points in this game. Backing around the end boards for Willie Nylander. Try to start this one right to left against Sweden. And the yellow jerseys, a mix of the blue striping of pants, Canada, and the red with the black pants. Victor Hedman off the touch. This one goes wide of Bennington's cage. And a good step up there for Sweden as they'll have to take a back look here for Colton Parayko. Now right to left come the Canadians, as this one's sent in now around the end boards again. Shea Theodore is not going to return, so that means Travis Sanheim's probably getting to start the next couple of days. Slap shot for Parayko. He got all of it from Connor McDavid, but that was held by Gustafson.
Now Canada, admittedly, a little behind on here. So we do get the recent news that Theodore will not return to this game, so now 5 defensemen for the rest of this game. That was a booming slapper for Colton Parayko. So he may have saw it on that lane, but that setup from right behind in Canada is what generated that with Connor McDavid on the half spin.
Yes, it was. And again, now Joel Eriksson, one of the best defensive and two-way players there for Minnesota Wild. He gets able to stay in the circle in between Connor McDavid, who wins his own face-off draw, now skates behind the mesh. Number 97 will play this off the backhand pivot and across the right side wall. Sweden now trying to find it. Eriksson have to turn around as it's McDavid off a little loft. Here's Parayko, slowly D-to-D. This one goes bounce right in front of Forsling. Will just shovel it into the corner and send this one down the ice. John Under with you alongside Alec Nava and Ian Genge. Again, Alec's going to get set to close this one right at the half for us. It's a 3-1 lead for Canada, as this is now in the left side corner. A couple of bounces there. Brodin trying to find this puck, and now Marner will take a loft ahead. It's a race for it right now. We'll see who gets to it. This will be an opportunity there for Sweden just to get a piece. And around the corner, Kempe now try to take this one right to left. The LA King will send this in alongside Carlson. Long shot scores! Adrian Kempe! It looked a little harmless until it wasn't. And now Sweden's within a goal.
There's the firepower that Sweden is needed. They showed that in the second period, and now an innocent-looking shot trickled to the back of the net from the high swat. Kempe takes the setup feed on the partial rush. Erik Karlsson waited and then found Kempe as he got around through 1-2 Canadians. It looked harmless at first, as Canada has a potential takeaway for them at that moment. But Karlsson made the perfect pass over to Kempe, who curled and dragged right through Drew Doughty, who had touched up on Kempe's stick, and it got in for the goal that put Sweden within 1.
Man, it honestly feels like Jordan Bennington's got to have that one. He did not get it. And now it's 3-2. Sweden, they're looking pretty dangerous. Here's a touch pass near the right side. Here's a chance that gets deflected off the backside of the mesh. Kept in now from D to D as Bennington gets back into his goal crease near the right side post on the stand-up. Again, it's a one-goal game. It was 2-1, now 3-2. As this is sent back around for Elias Pettersson. Jarvis able to keep this alive on his back skate. Jonas Brodin trying to join in on the fray with Philip Forsberg. Now, Sweden, this is just a massive humanity. Near the left side dot. Canada trying to break this out from 50 feet back behind their own end. Gain the red. It's Braden Point. Tampa Bay Lightning man will send this one in. Again, I split the difference with Alec between a 4-3 and a 4-2. And we might definitely get the scoreline we thought we could. It was just the first period that looked a hell of a lot different. 16:55 left to go in this third. We're watching this one from the Bell Center on TNT. Glad you could join us here between Twitch side, the Twitter space, YouTube, everything else across the board. As this one's now sent in. Canada will try to send this around the embankment. We finished off with a check there. And now Sweden over Victor Hedman. Finally find the vulcanized rubber. Hedman. Good outlet pass, a little bit too hard. And across the red line as Canada will try to send this one back in. Sweden will go ahead and take some changes. Already near the bench anyway. It bounces off of Sweden. Offsides is the call. 16:24 in the third.
Good early start for Sweden here as they're putting more pressure towards Canada. Get the owners out there to feel the sense of urgency to get a goal for Canada. That Canada needs to get this next goal, you would believe.
And I shouldn't be surprised, Alec, as far as Adrian Kempe. It doesn't matter usually for him. Anyway, anytime it's a big game, that guy's a goal scorer.
He is. He scored 40 in a season, so he's used to finding the back of the net. And he's on the same line with Philip Forsberg, too, another 40-goal scorer.
Now, toward the left side of the dot, as we get a little bit of an overhead camera here. Now, a little bit of a board battle as this has emerged. Now, Nylander set up the 1-T. That was just got a piece of the stick there for Bennington. That was a hellacious slap shot, wide open. Now, and off the rush, McDavid trying to join the fray. It takes 3 players to bottle him up. And now Kel McCarr will get the stick and go ahead and play the vulcanizer over for a moment. Take this D to D. Eight's all over the board between Drew Doughty and McCarr. This will be stopped by Gustafsson and brushed into the corner as we get some more body contact. Gustav Forsling trying to find this with a couple of sticks. He's out there. And alongside Lucas Raymond on that third line, as this will be picked up now to the left side red line. There's a couple of touch passes. Sweden trying to use the glass just to be able to get it out of their own end. And now another race for the puck. This is a wide open Travis Konechny, but the pass doesn't get there. Lucas Raymond thankfully saved their bacon there. Good defensive play. He had to do a lot of that with the Red Wings. He's used to it. As this is now a chance for Doughty. This one is saved by Gustafsson with the right pad. And now Raymond push this one in the corner there. Joel Eriksson Ek now in a battle with the puck as it just rolls over the blue line. And now be sent back down as Canada gets a chance to start again. 16-13 on the shot board. We should be set up for a good finish. This is now Matthias Ekholm. Oiler now will push this one toward the right side dot and get it right back. Ekholm's speed. This is a good pass ahead, and then just taken away by Brad Marchand. Marchand goes in across the Four Nations logo. Braden points off sides. They get a stoppage with 14:36.
It didn't look like much on the offside, but it was just so slightly that you couldn't even tell that Braden Point is offside from the angle that we got. This is a little overhead, but may have got both feet inside a little too soon.
That's all it was there. Again, tournament rules, all games will be played in accordance to NHL rules, except for overtime, which will be 10 minutes for a round-robin game. So again, I'll have to keep that in mind. All the other point totals are the same, so if we do get to OT, things are going to look a little bit different. Nathan McKinnon now in his own end. Try to chase this into the corner alongside Crosby. That second line has been very good. Philip Forsberg will take the long shovel ahead. There's an opportunity now for a chase, and this will be recollected here for Canada. Nathan McKinnon able to stutter step and stay with the puck as he'll work his way to the left side red line. This will be picked off for the moment. And now Sweden will go ahead and chase off the spin and turn. There's a shovel pass right to Hedman. Hedman now look for a deflection. This one will go just wide as Sweden try to keep it in toward the right side dot. He's sent in deep now. Colton Parayko will go ahead and take the long flip. Lucas Raymond left the game in this third period. But again, I just saw him out there now. So we'll just go ahead and see how long that's going to change. Pass right out in front. What a stop by Binnington with the stick. Not sure who that was with the jersey on the other end. But here's Reinhart. Try to leave this one for Mitch Marner. Give it back to Sam. This is a good pickup. Now Rasmus Dahlin. Toward the right side, this shot goes wide. 13:20 left to go in the third as it's put in the corner. Sweden now will get this in across the wall and send it in deep of Jordan Binnington. This is a game that could go either way. Connor McDavid turning on the Jets. Works his way behind the net, goes for a wraparound. That one goes outside of the cage. He was going end to end. And then Gustafsson will just see the puck and fall on it.
For a split second, it looked like one of those wow moments that McDavid can dazzle crowds with turning on the afterburners and then moving around through the net, trying to fool out goaltenders into believing he's there one moment. Now you see him, now you don't. Gustafsson recovered in time to stop that wraparound goal from going to the back of the net. Good moments for McDavid. He's been the best player in the first period, and so far he had his best moment of this period here.
Yes, he did. And again, selfishly, I'm just going to say this on the broadcast side now that I see that Lucas Raymond has left part of this game. My concern is immediately now with the team that I reside with. I just hope that he is okay. It didn't seem like there was much contact in the right corner. It certainly didn't look as worse as Shea Theodore for Team Canada.
Imagine that if the pain's not too much, then he could be good to go. But obviously, he's not feeling at 100% after taking that contact at that right corner.
That's what we saw from the TNT camera shot. Again, there wasn't much to say as far as the contact, but that's what we see. If we get any updates, we'll let you know across the board. Right now, 1:54. Early in the third, it was Kempe from Carlson and Matthias Ekholm as it's a 3-2 game. Philip Gustafsson, 13 of 16. Jordan Binnington, 12 of 14. I wouldn't say that either goaltender has looked shaky. I would say the chances have been pretty strong on both ends when both teams have gotten chances to score.
Yeah, with the low amount of shots, you would think that this game is a more defensive style of game. We're seeing that here in the Four Nations face-off. Shots are earned, not given. And we're seeing defensive masterclasses on both ends.
Yeah, we're going to have to see that especially in this third with the amount of skill that both teams have. Again, notwithstanding that end-to-end rush almost for Connor McDavid. If they're going to give up any more of those there, Sweden could be in trouble. But this has been a much better second and third. I was hoping going into this, as I mentioned with Alec in the pregame, that this could be a contest that can go either way. And it certainly feels like now it might come down to that. As we were just cycling through these commercials, we'll get a chance to get settled again as they're showing the Connor McDavid wizardry as he taps the puck to his stick ahead in full flight and then tries to wrap it around. He just missed that right side of the post.
Well, you didn't have to do that to your own teammate, McDavid.
That kind of skill that he has. I mean, you talk about 1A, 1B. I like to say that between Connor McDavid and Nathan McKinnon, but I think Connor McDavid really is the only one that can do that type of thing. As it's Gustav Forsling now. And they're on the corner for Victor Hedman. Victor Hedman played so many minutes in that first. Now those minutes have been satiated from the second and third, a little more even, as this one's pushed in the corner now. And again, they talked about the mix of Lucas Raymond. Again, 23. I am seeing them out there, so got to imagine that it's just a little bit of a wrong graphic as this one goes into the corner.
So it appears that Raymond is good to go for this game?
That's what I'm seeing. Again, I see a number 23, and that's what I have listed on my sheet, Alec, as far as Four Nations roster. If I'm wrong, please give me a correction. But I got Raymond as 23 as his Red Wings number, and I still see him out there.
So that's a good sign for Sweden and keeping him out there, even though he's feeling the effects of that collision.
So 12:37 we'll have to go here in the third as this face-off loss overhead camera view. This be a easy glove save for Philip Gustafsson 17-14 on the shot board for Canada. They're up by 1.
They're still focusing on Matthias Ekholm after he saw McDavid spin around him for up close. Ekholm's usually one of the best defensive defensemen of his class. Was a member of the Nashville Predators Stanley Cup team in 2017 as one of the more reputable defensive defensemen. He's found himself a solid pairing with Evan Bouchard in Edmonton too.
Yeah, and you can talk about some of those things. I know we talked about in the past and a little bit in the previous Stanley Cup of Florida and Edmonton, but that was a really good signing. Was it not for Ken Holland before he left to get Matthias Ekholm there? Because they really needed defensive help, and they got it.
They did.
12:05 left to go in the third. This pass goes all the way back down. Couldn't save it onto a knee as Gustafsson will get a chance to start this now. I'll get set to hand this over to Alec here pretty shortly. Some huge contact near the players' bench as that drew a little bit of a ire from the crowd. And now an opportunity there as Forsling will send this around the end bank. Picked up now for Sweden. Back in mind, the mesh couldn't find Ricard Raquel. A little soft chip ahead. This will be an opportunity for Brandon Hagel. He gets dispossessed off an inside-out move, and Gustafsson will leave it for his defense. Good pass for Raquel, trying to enter with speed. I haven't called Mika Zibanejad's number all that much. A rolling puck toward the right side. Dock gets settled down. A shot from a severe angle as this one bounces up into the air. Now toward the left side red line. We have not had any penalty calls since really the opening 20 seconds of the first one. A high stick from Willie Nylander. Everything else has been even. We will get an icing, Alec. I might as well just hand it to you with 11:07 left.
Yeah, Sidney Crosby, who they're profiling, those handshakes with Mario Lemieux and with his wizardry onto the ice. Crosby's been the best player of this game by stats with the setup pass to Nathan McKinnon on a spinorama no-look pass on his backhand, and then turns around on the partial break to set up Mark Stone on the one-timer in the slot. His gold medal track record speaks for itself. 2005 World Juniors, 2015 World Championships, and all the rest of it itself. 2 Olympic gold. Oh, several bodies go down. No penalty. Jesper Bratt right in front. They score! And we are knotted up where we began.
Man, oh man, this game has finally come to roost, has it not, Alec? Again, we've been trying to talk about the pretenses of Sweden also having an excellent attack. Just make sure you work Jordan Binnington a little bit because you have Gustafsson on the other end. It comes off a face-off win from Eric Sinek. He gets right to the net, and then he's the recipient of a gorgeous pass and alongside that top line. And we have a brand new game, my friend.
And Jordan Binnington himself was caught in an island, not knowing where to go to.
Yes.
Going right, left, and he wanted to go glove side. And he wanted to try to stop this with his glove, but by the time he was trying to stop it, it was already too late. So in this third period, Sweden's tied it up. They can take the lead here. Jesper Bratt, they ruled is offside.
That's pretty fortunate here. I haven't said that too often, Alec, have I, about Canada as far as the offside against Sweden. Starting to feel like, I know the shot board says indifferent, but since that second period, I know that Mark Stone goal was big. I think Sweden's been the better team.
So far, Sweden's been the better team since the start of the second period. Those adjustments are huge for Sam Hallam. Joel Eriksson Ek with his 29th point in international play, IIHF, Olympics, and 4 Nations. The Canada, they need to get back in front, and they need to find a way. Doughty flips this forward over to the near corner. Hedman directs traffic away. Reinhart holds it. Marner, he wants to go to McDavid, can't do so now. Marner sends it to McDavid at last, but McDavid gets dispossessed in an instant. Marner shoves away his man, and Sweden gets it out. It's going to roll to Canada's zone. Well, not enough for icing as one of the Canadians falls down. Oh, baby. That was a costly offside.
Man, Mitch Marner would have had daylight, would he have not, Alec? I think it would have been a one-on-one against Philip Gustafsson. But I think he just got that banana peel, a little Mario Kart.
Oh, yeah, that really looked like it as such. A banana peel on the ice. Not where you want to be.
So with 10:19 left to go in the third, Alec's going to get set to take this home for us. This game's finally turned into what we thought it would be. This could be a hell of a first night in the 4 Nations face-off tournament.
Drama building up here at Bell Center. Gustav Forsling blocked by Mark Stone, and the play's blown dead.
So 3-3 is your score line. Shot totals are a little bit low. Again, between the elite defense you can have between both of these, it's to be expected. 17-16. As we get a little bit of talking to, I'll just give you that quick reset before Alec jumps in. It's Adrian Kempe from Carlson and Ekholm, and Joel Eriksson Ek 2 unanswered just before the 9-minute marker from Jesper Bratt and Lucas Raymond.
This is some tie-up over at the near corner off that face-off, and Canada will get to move this out to center. Boy, they need something to break this deadlock because Sweden's having their way with them here in this third period. It's bounced up closer to swap, but Sweden was there. These are diverted away. Lerouges pick it up near the Sweden blue line. Dekonork has it back. Nylander. William Nylander softly weaves his way through, makes his way over to the top of the left circle, fires it, and Binnington had to fight that one off. Canada clears this one out. Two Swedes collide with each other. Canada back with this Hagel fighting Cirelli. Cirelli to the near corner, diverts it back to the right point for Makar. Wide open the left circle! Gustafsson held his own with 9:30 for an approaching Devon Taves.
And that was Cale Makar to Devon Taves. Was it not two Avalanche teammates? Good save there, Gustafsson. And he had to answer as his teammates struck twice already in this third. As we go to break, intrigue abound.
And we do have breaking news from Boston, not in the NHL, and not in the NBA, but rather with the Red Sox. The Red Sox have announced that they have signed Alex Bregman to a 3-year deal at $120 million. So another free agent addition goes to Boston in addition to Walker Buehler.
So 3 years, 120, Alec. That almost is $40 million a year.
Yeah. Indeed.
In the distance, you can hear the heart. Look, sis. You can see the exact point where his heart is ripped in two. Cue the Astros fans.
Yeah, you're starting to dissect that team piece by piece from the trash can era and all that too. But I will say this: I know the Tigers have been in the mix for Alex Bregman. And I know I've made the comments about Chris Ilitch. Now he's going through a divorce with his wife. Maybe the payroll might look a little bit different. I don't think the Tigers are going to be able to swing him for $40 million a year at that time. That just wouldn't make much sense. I'm actually glad he went to the Red Sox.
I mean, and really, are the Tigers even in need of a first bit? Are they really in need of a third baseman like that?
Yeah, I don't think Alex Bregman would have made as much sense. I know Spencer Torkelson hasn't gotten off to the start that he's wanted to, and he's addressed that today as everybody's going to start to get ready here for spring training. But you're right, because when they were thinking about the numbers, I probably thought that they would have stretched it out at 2025, not $40 million apiece, because he just doesn't have the power numbers. And last year, I mean, Alec, he struck out probably 150 more times than he usually does.
His age is possibly getting up there, but do remember, Christian Walker, who the Astros signed, is a little older than Bregman is right now. But what Boston's paying him for is to boost their offense right now, similar to what the Blue Jays did with George Springer.
Yeah, that's some good breaking news on your part there, Alan, because I think Red Sox, if it wasn't for all the injuries they had in their pitching staff, that was one of those teams that was doing well. And I know tomorrow will be right alongside each other again as it'll be USA and Finland. I'm chomping at the bit for that one as well.
Let's get that started tomorrow. Of course, I'm looking forward to USA's first game in this Four Nations face-off. And McDavid's tossed out. That'll get Reinhart in. Leading goal scorer for the Florida Panthers. Thought he won this face-off, but Sweden recollects this. They're on the driver's seat right now because they have all the momentum. But Canada is in their zone right now. With the puck for a split second as Makar held it for a moment. Sweden has it for them now as they take it away. Moving it up through the ice, Canada strikes back with it. Makar, Marner, back for Makar. They're playing a lot of catch here at their own zone, and moving up is McDavid, weaving his way through center. Drop pass to the trailer, Taves. To the far corner, Ekholm on an intercept, but this bounce out to Marner, who mishandled for a moment. Marner to the net front, and he's... Oh! What a save by Philip Gustafsson! I thought that was gonna be scored. Turns out Gustafsson had a say on that one. unless there's something different. That looked to be a goal that was taken away on a spectacular play. Sweden can't get this the other way for Adrian Kempe. That was so close to being 4-3. Hedman flips this forward. This will be wide up Bennington. The first one is Kempe. At the near half boards, Hedman fires this one around. To the right side now, Brodin on the hold. Far corner. Now from Gretzky's office, one-timer was not set up. This goes back on through center. Hedman, from his own zone, flips it ahead. And Kempe, Zibanejad could not pick it up. Now he does, but it's offside. Boy, oh boy, how was this not a goal?
That is unbelievable from right to left post McDavid with a gorgeous feed across, and Gustafson just able to get a stick blade on it for an absolute robbery against Devon Tays. That's 2 times he should have scored already.
That's Henrik Lundqvist-esque.
Philip Gustafson entered into a quick time event. I swear.
Yes.
Someone had to press circle and square in rapid succession to make that happen.
Turns out they put on the Joy-Cons while playing one of the famous games that we've known on a quick time event. Here's Hedman with it. Hedman goes back for his partner, and this will be moved up ahead for Forsberg. Yes, Gustafsson with a Henrik Lundqvist-esque save. I know it's symbolic with Sweden, knowing that Sweden has been blessed with superb goaltending from him. One-timer in front, blocked in front, second ever went wide, a third try, hit the side of the cage! Brad Marchand was the closest, and Sweden has it. Moving it off the boards, and they clear it. Drake Honor, wanting to set up. Oh, Eriksson Ek was high-sticked, and Sweden will go on the power play.
Alec, this one is getting so good, is it not? Canada trying to answer desperately after chances, as you said, with Brad Marchand in the corner. This is off the backside of the mesh as Braden Point joins in. Marchand, it gets blocked by the defense. It gets set back up there for Kale McCarr, who then gets robbed. And now we got a Sweden power play. Look out.
Momentum can change in an instant, and here is when the momentum can really go on a swivel, a pendulum. I know Josh Morris, he wanted to stick with Eriksson Ek, but you can't go up high onto someone's face. He's fortunate it's 2 minutes.
Yeah, he got Eriksson Ek pretty good on that one, did he not, Alec? He hit him really hard with that one.
Yeah, that was very hard, and that was ugly. And there's your guy, John, left point, Raymond on the 23.
He's already got a couple assists in this game. He's very dangerous.
This is where he can strike. Sweden ties up Canada on this face-off. Nylander will go to Raymond. Back to the point. Tic-tac-toe. Raymond going down low and onto the slot. This could not be located for Eriksson Ek. Hedman on the hold. Zibanejad. This will go back for Raymond. Zibanejad is at the near corner. Waits with it. Now goes back for Raymond. Hedman. One more time onto the right side. Set up for Raymond. Hedman on the blast. Oh, that took a block. And then forced out by Anthony Cirelli. He's going to get some stick taps when he goes to the bench.
Of course. Again, I don't want to be hyperbolic here and say this feels like a Stanley Cup final in the mix of Tays and McCarr, but that took a piece of Cirelli there as it bounced off the right skate.
Yeah, John Cooper trusts him with penalty killing minutes. And this is where he has relied on such situations. This time, right circle. Sweden with another win. Zibanejad lightly taps it to Hedman and then back to him. Zibanejad trying to locate this. It goes to Hedman, right point. Now around through the far boards for Eriksson Ek. Right circle one more time. And then around for Raymond. Lucas Raymond advances further. Raymond tied up right behind. Poked away by Hagel. And then fired on the backhand right for Gustafsson, who is looking like Henrik Lundqvist in this third period, stopping everything, especially on that last sequence. Sweden activates on this rush. Nylander leading the way. Nylander at the right circle, fires it and shut down by Binnington as Nylander is going head-to-head with Doughty. And here's a 2-on-2 the other way. Marner, short-handed, will go to the trailer. And shot blockered away by Gustafsson. Scooped up by Philip Forsberg. He will drop it back. and Drekonar will start this away with 33. Not a good entry, and Canada is able to clear this one easily. They've had some good shorthanded looks, especially on that 2-on-2 when Marner went on the trailer. Here comes Sweden on the left side for Elias Pettersson. Pettersson had it sticked away from him by Mark Stone, but Sweden's able to hold. Down low at the far corner. Now back over towards the point. Erik Karlsson, and that pass was headed for him. And now Canada will swoop this over to the far corner. Excellent penalty killing by Lerouges. That was much needed. And they get Josh Morrissey back on the ice. A huge penalty kill for them. Otherwise, this would be 4-3, but none of Sweden has anything to say about this one. But Binnington had an answer to that. McDavid will feed it for Reinhart. 3-on-4 as Reinhart flips it to the near corner. Reinhart matched up by Hedman. That allows Arvidsson to pick it up. Down the far side, the boards. Sweden galvanizing this one up for Forsling. Over the right side on the shot. Binnington turning it away, and it's out towards the mesh. Elias Lindholm, the Boston Bruin, with the last shot.
I can say this definitively. I know what it is between Binnington and Gustafsson, but Gustafsson, we talked about some of those saves in the third. Oh, we talked about all the ones now in the first and the third. He has been excellent. This game could be completely different, and now it really does feel like, gentlemen, next goal is going to win this one.
Definitely. Oh, by the way, Alec, your Rockets pulled out the comeback. They beat the Suns, and the leading scorer for them was neither Amin Thompson or Alfred Şengün. It was Tari Eason.
Pleasant surprise, but I'll take it. Let's go. Way to get back on the win column, boys.
That's a good night for Tari Easton. Again, 25 points, 3 steals, 9 rebounds. They will outduel Kevin Durant, who had a 37-point outing, but he did have 7 turnovers.
And Amin Thompson had himself a triple-double of 18 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists to add on with 2 steals, 2 blocks. Safely put, this kid's the real deal.
Yeah, we've seen that throughout the tournament, Alec. Again, I punched up on the lot for Amin Thompson. I thought he looked legit already, and he's going to continue to grow. And you guys have a budding star.
Yes, indeed. To add on to the score already with Şengün and Jalen Green. There's a bright future in Houston, and no matter where we finish among the seedings, I feel 2 wins in a row to erase the 6-game losing streak is much needed for a Rockets team that's needing a bounce back. Because right now we're right behind the Lakers and the Nuggets in the standings. Denver's turning it on at the right time. We got to make sure that we turn it on at the right time because we need to get more experience and exposure for these young players to go up against veteran teams like Denver and LA.
Yeah, that's well said. I really don't have anything else to add to that. I think that you're going to go ahead and you can catch the Lakers, the Nuggets with them turning it on. I don't know. The Nuggets are always dangerous. I feel like they can just ignite the pilot light at any moment.
Yeah. Also, Alfred Şengün, his last name makes him sound like he should be a villain from the 03 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon.
Oh.
You can't take him lightly. He always gets it done every night.
That one flew over my head, Ian, admittedly. Should we need overtime, this will be a 10-minute overtime period, 3-on-3, much like in the NHL, like they do with their overtimes, except it's double the amount of overtime. This one flung down the ice, and Sweden was ahead of that, so we'll get a face-off at Canada's zone.
I'll say this, Alec, again, I'm probably thinking the same thing between you and I. If we do get to OT, we're not going to need all 10 minutes.
It's going to... Yeah, someone's going to end it either early. I think someone's going to end it early if it comes to this point. We might not need all 10 minutes. And if that's the case, could get our potential predictions on next goal wins this one. Not to sound cheesy here, but Jordan Binnington had to turn away a long flip. And this will go down for the ice. Yet another icing.
So you and I split the difference because I was going to leave the 4-2. I left that one for you. We said 4-2, 4-3. And that's exactly where we might be at this point. Again, it was a little interesting the way that it got there. it's really not impossible for us to say that the way that Sweden played in the first period, they couldn't play any worse, but at least they were only down 2. And that was the portion in this game why it was important. Sweden comes out, plays a great third period. Gustafsson electric, and it's a tie game with 4:15 left in regulation.
Canada fell into the old trap, Alec. You know what we say all the time. The most dangerous lead in hockey is a 2-goal lead.
And that they found themselves in that trap now. 4 seconds. Here comes Canada, and they misplayed a pass. Colton Parayko. Remember, no Shea Theodore for the rest of this game, so we could be seeing Travis Sanheim in their next game when they take on the US of A. This puck goes out of play with 3:49 to go.
We will indeed see Travis Sanheim because of the x-rays. I don't think they're going to mess around too much with Shea Theodore, and even in the long side with the former coach and Bruce Cassidy and everyone else. I think Bruce Cassidy is going to make sure he stays healthy as a Vegas Golden Knight.
That's what I would be sure of, knowing that Cassidy is on this coaching staff. Moved up for Jesper Bratt. He wants to go around Colton Parayko. Parayko pursued this puck. Bratt chips around onto the far half board. Stone was there. Fed it up for Parayko. Parayko slowed down by Bratt. Keeps a hold of this puck. Parayko chips it ahead. And behind it is Rasmus Dahlin. Dahlin will move to the far half boards. Sweden try to take their first lead. They'll have to wait even longer. This bounces up. Canada scoops it up. This is Taves, who gets this over to the near half boards for Doughty. Doughty gets this one deep. Sweden's the first one there at the far corner. And they chop this one out over the center. Bouncing puck will be scooped up by Devon Taves. 3 minutes to go. Oh, this went by everyone. Now it's a race for the puck. Gustafsson cuts out this crease. This waves off the icing. Through the far half boards. Canada's on the hold. Derek Honor back with this with Erik Karlsson looking to get this one out, but is held in by Point for a split second before Sweden scoops it out. Point had his stick lifted off his stick, but Les Rouges still grab a hold of it. And well, I don't know how many times I've said this, but Sidney Crosby with the Canada national soccer team right after they defeated Venezuela in the Copa America. And back deep is Canada as they scoop it up. One-timer left point. Went wide, but it's held in by Makar. Along for the far corner, Sam Reinhart on the hole for McDavid. McDavid through the left circle. Forehands this one around for Marner. Looks for Reinhart at the near corner. Hand towards the wall. Reinhart able to get free. Marner looking for a lane in front. Reinhart! And Gustafsson held the post with 2:02.
Kind of wonder if Gustafsson was feeling any butterflies in the mix between Marner, McDavid, and Reinhart. Were just working their way between the right side red line, left side, all behind the net, and Gustafsson already there. Alec made that look easy.
Marner knows he's closed off, so he goes to the safe option, and Reinhart, who was open, back door, with Marner getting double teamed by Patterson and one of his other teammates. Face off to the right of Gustafsson, won by Sweden. Crosby was on that face-off. To the near half boards for Bratt, who clears it. Less than 2 minutes to go. Canada looking to win it here in regulation. The point standings rules are the same as in double IHF rules. 3 points for regulation wins, 2 points for overtime wins, 1 point for overtime losses, none for regulation losses. Far out boards poked free by Sweden as they try to steal one from Canada. Shots 20 apiece. Alec Nava, John Ott, Ian Genge. Puck at the penalty box doors dumped in by McKinnon. And will be scooped up by Raymond, who bats it backwards. Both teams go on wholesale changes, and it's Matthias Ekholm, the Edmonton Oiler, teammate of Connor McDavid on the Oilers. Now they're rivals now. Through the far half boards, Patterson moves it up front. To the front, Binnington played away off his stick. Held inside by Nylander, driving back door, away from Crosby. With the far half board, stopped by Binnington. 1 minute to go. Dahlin on the hold from the point. Gets it over right point, and Sweden will get this one around. Dahlin to the front! And no deflection from Forsberg, turned away by Binnington. Reinhart holds it, away from Nylander. Sweden trying to poke it away. Cale Makar casually gets this one across the red line, and Canada able to hold it on the dump and chase. Braden Point, Anthony Cirelli Cirelli escapes with this one time from Parayko blocked in front. And Sweden's able to get this one away. Devon Taves, 27 seconds. Cirelli gets this one in deep. In pursuit is Hagel. Hagel away from Forsling. Canada holding 18 seconds. McKinnon out there on the ice. Set up pass in front, intended for point. And this one cleared out by Sweden. 10 seconds. Does Canada go for one last rush? They will. Batted up by point. Sweden is swinging a miss. McKinnon with 5, with 4 around Ekholm. Dispossessing the puck. And this first game in the Four Nations face-off. How fitting. We will need overtime.
It's kind of crazy to say again from the first period to look at it from when you just close it out like that. I have chills because that ended up being pretty darn fun through 60, and we still got more to do. I got to give a lot of credit to Sweden and for their forwards be able to stick in through it, get traffic in front of Bennington, score a couple, then a great pass as Eriksson Ek was the recipient off a face-off win. Augustusson doesn't make those saves. We're not even having this conversation right now.
Yes, yes. It was crucial that Gustafsson made those insane stops, including that robbery that he had right in front on Devon Taves with a wide open net and then blockered that one aside. That was the biggest save of this game. If he doesn't make that, Canada takes this in regulation.
Yeah, and Devon Taves got to be thinking, what more do I have to do? He got robbed twice in that period alone. It really wasn't his fault. Those were just point-blank chances. He slid all the way over from the left post and got a piece of it with the stick.
Say, what are we thinking for overtime to score the winner?
Do you want to go ahead and take first dibs? I don't want to steal any players from you.
All right. So I'll take Braden Point for Canada, and for Sweden, I'm going with Adrian Kempe.
Adrian Kempe is a solid choice, my friend. I'm going to go ahead and stick with... I got to go with the hometown guy for me. I want to go Lucas Raymond for the Team Sweden and for Team Canada. Why not? He's been good all night, but I would like to see him get on the board. Let's give him a goal. Let's take Sid.
What say you, Ian?
Well, let's see. For Sweden, I'll go Elias Pettersson. And for Canada, you know what, John? I'll go with the hometown guy, too. Canada's winning goal will come from a howitzer by Colton Parayko.
Hey, I like it. We got 6 different picks all the way across the board. I think one of us is going to win money. We'll see who wins this game.
We'll see. Let's see who they send out there for free-on-free overtime to begin. If this goes beyond 5 minutes, I'll let you take the final 5 minutes unless there's a winner in the final 5. Then you'll take the final 5, John.
That is excellent work from you. Very gracious, Alec. I appreciate it.
All right. So as you start off this overtime, Gustafsson back in his crease. He did have a showcasing of him in his Minnesota Wild years. Hint hits double overtime against Dallas in Game 1, 2023. McDavid out there to start this free-on-free overtime. 10 minutes until a winner. If it doesn't get to a winner, we'll have a shootout. Marner defending as he is waiting for an outlet pass in front. Sweden's group consists of Bratt, Eriksson Ek, and Forsling. Canada, McDavid, Marner, and Makar to start off. So how about this for this first game of the Four Nations face-off? It's cinema. Jesper Bratt waits, and it moves across. Bratt waits with a lane. Now moves around over to the left side. Eriksson Ek does not see anything in terms of options. And Bratt will sub out for Lucas Raymond for his first shift of overtime. McKinnon's on. Marner is going to get off. Makar still out there onto the ice. So Sidney Crosby out there too, but Sweden has had the puck for all this overtime as note. Inside, Sweden tried to steal it. McKinnon defending at the far corner. Nothing there. Victor Hedman and the receiving end of this pass. Held this one in. It's Raymond. He'll backhand it on the drop pass for Nylander. Nylander. Watched by Crosby. Nylander will wait some more. Flip pass in front. And that was wide of Raymond. Raymond's turnaround pass bounced off of McKinnon and Binnington played it to him. It was a little dangerous. Nathan McKinnon is going to turn off the afterburners. McKinnon activates. Almost dispossessed. Cuts to the right. Fires it. And that's shut down by the Gus Bus.
You got to say it again, as dangerous as Connor McDavid can be. You give Nathan McKinnon a 3-on-3 after that pass collection from Bennington stick. A little inside out is Zibanejad. A little how do you do to Carlson, but Gustafson's right there.
Of course, coast to coast, he's known for highlight reel goals. When he had during the Avalanche's Stanley Cup run in 2022, he had the filthiest goal of the entire playoff run. And now we have Braden Point, Mark Stone, and Josh Morrissey for Canada. Sweden wins this face-off, but Points in pursuit up against Forsling, who ties him up. Puck is still free. It is Sweden picking it up. Zibanejad, Raquel, and Forsling out on the ice. This goes for Raquel, who waits. Point is out front, watching for every puck movement. Forsling waits with more of this puck. Now at the far side, they start to rush. Zibanejad, he'll take this in and drop it for Raquel. Tying him up with Stone. Raquel frees up for Zibanejad. And that one stopped by Bennington. All the way across. Anything you can do, I can do too, he says to Gustafsson.
Yeah, no doubt about it, Alec. His best save of the game, Ricard with a sweet little move around Stone. A feather of a drop pass. Might have partially got deflected off the defense, but still he made a stick save, sliding over to the right post.
If he doesn't make that save, it's game over.
That's where we are right now in this OT. That was the best chance here for Sweden. It's Nathan McKinnon needing to win a D-zone draw.
McKinnon and McDavid on the ice at the same time. You got the all-star lineup for Canada. McKinnon, McDavid, Makar. And John Cooper said, if there's a moment that we have to put any three of these ice on at the same time, we're probably in trouble. That's the situation they find themselves now. Because they use the speed to their advantage. And here's McDavid. Gonna wait patiently with this. Waiting for options now. McDavid gonna drop it for McKinnon. McKinnon starts this, fires it. And Gustafsson right on cue.
Is it any surprise, Alec, that anytime I feel like Nathan McKinnon's got the puck in his hands right now, after that sick little toe dragging shot, I feel like he's going to score, man. He's looking dangerous.
Yet every time Gustafsson has had an answer, it felt like McKinnon, he's going to score every time he has that puck. Of course, he has that look on his face. Boy, how did I not have that one?
This game's electric. Now, Willie Nylander trying to get this draw against McDavid.
You got two wingers on the ice for Sweden. And Philip Forsberg lost that one. It's out to center, though. Canada with possession. 7:37 left in OT, unless we have a winner. Nathan McKinnon has Connor McDavid out in front of him. Cale Makar out there as well. McKinnon fakes out one man. Now McKinnon activates. McKinnon to the slot. Fires stopped. And Gustafsson will stick it aside for Forsberg. Philip Forsberg. Long stretch passes intercepted. And Canada will go the other way. Cale Makar up on the swap, fires it wide. Hagel will stick this one down. Will go towards the point for McDavid, who'll take this one out. McDavid, out of his shift. He'll go to the bench to get the new guy in. Devon Taves up for the near side of the ice for Hagel. Hagel has Cirelli with him. Hagel fires it, and it's blocked away by Gustafsson. Hagel to the point for Taves. Holds it in. Hagel flipped it for Taves to Cirelli. He can't fire that one. It's off his skate. And all the way back for Devon Taves as Mitch Marner gets back onto the ice. Hagel for Taves. Some more changes as Hedman's back out. Bratt as well. For the near side, moving up, it's Marner. One-on-one as Marner waits patiently. Marner. Josh Morrissey is out there on the ice as well. Marner waits some more. Marner, a low stutter step. Now drop pass for Morrissey. Marner one more time. Marner, fake shoots, fires. Rebound is loose. It's up in the air. And Gustafsson holds firm.
Gustafsson's cool as a cucumber here because you got Nathan McKinnon going end-to-end 3 other times already in this OT. And then Marner pretty much just playing rope-a-dope until he gets a chance to be able to set up anybody. You got Hagel there from the right side dot. He is making some big-time saves.
This does not look like this is not a power play, John. Yet it looks like one by the way that McKinnon is playing. Face off won by Canada. They protect the puck. And because Makar was under duress by Raquel, he is forced to take this one out. 4 minutes deep into OT. Who will be the hero here? Canada's had the majority of chances here in this overtime. 5:55 as McKinnon takes it slowly. McKinnon will second guess and it will go back. He wants to use his speed to his advantage. He does so here. Left circle. Yes, right, by front. Sweden poke checks it away in time. That was the most dangerous chance he had. And here's Ekholm. Watched by McDavid. Ekholm cuts in. Ekholm wraps it around. Loose in front. Battle for the loose puck. Canada picks it up. And this is a 3-on-1 for the win here. McKinnon. Sosa. McKinnon fires. Stopped by Gustafsson. And here's Sweden the other way. 2-on-1 on the counter. But Zibanejad takes his time. Blasts one. And this will exit all the way down towards the ice. John, take it away.
Kempe now, as he just missed a shot. This game's been absolutely nuts. As it goes to the right side corner, Elias Pettersson, Kempe Pettersson! And this one's blocked. As it goes to the right side red line, Kempe outlet pass, wrister, and the stick breaks in half. One of the Canadians. It's pretty much a 2-on-3. Here's Forsling cross. Oh, stop by Binnington with the stick. As this game continues to deliver, Hagel now trying to go off to the races right to left. I don't want this game to end. Hagel toward the right side off the spin. Full survey. I think everybody's going to be able to get their sticks now and get their change. That's what John Cooper wants. 4:25 left in this OT should we need it. Canada now. Hagel. Get this across the Four Nations logo. It's Sid. Good feed pass ahead. Toward the right side, Morrissey runs in the wall of Forsling. Crosby. What a McKinnon time. Crosby's speed that was picked off expertly by Sweden, and it had to be. It's a 2-on-2. Nylander had the game on his stick, and he couldn't hold. And now Canada gets an opportunity. Sid's out there. Sid surveying, making sure keeping his head up. He takes a back pass instead of going into the zone. Sid now will take a change. Here's a one. Mr. Scores! Canada wins it. It's Mitch Marner.
What a classic. And what a way to end this off. Boy, we didn't want this game to end, but one team had to win this. What a masterclass by both teams. Canada offensively, Sweden defensively. I'll give my props to Sweden. They played their hearts out in this game. They're capable of pulling off upset victories here and there, but here is Canada on the win. It's Marner who delivers the winning goal. There was much discussion about him, whether or not he was going to stay with the Maple Leafs, but he silenced the doubters and naysayers now. It is Marner, top slot for the win. As Sidney Crosby slowed up, he was at the tail end of his shift. He knows he's tired, so he heads to the bench. As Marner, he gets the immediate hold of the puck, goes up with speed as opposed to what he slowed up earlier in this overtime. Marner uses his speed to his advantage, Nathan McKinnon style, and then picks the top left corner with an added screen in front from one of Sweden's defenders. Gustafsson turns his head towards his right a little too late because of the screen that was set up in front, with Marner going top left corner. Perfect spot for Marner to pick.
Absolutely, Alec, and a primary assist there for Sidney Crosby, his third point of the game. I didn't get any of the game winners there, right, but I got the score right, 4-3. That's what it ended up being for this one. It's been a while since we worked together, Alec, but again, it's always been seamless. I've been so privileged to be able to join you for this one. We might have gotten the game of the tournament, and this is just night one.
Yeah,
Gentlemen, one could say that this was a game concocted by Shakespeare, because the tension that we all felt in those final moments rivaled that of Hamlet.
Yeah.
I felt the same feelings that I would when we were on Stanley Cup calls and playoff games. Did you not? I mean, I don't want to sound too crazy, but I felt the tension. I thought it was awesome.
Oh, yes.
It definitely has a playoff atmosphere, John. I'll tell you that much. And this is the round robin. Imagine what we're going to get when we get to the finals games.
I know. I'm so looking forward to next week. Again, Thursday is going to be the final next week. We still got USA-Finland tomorrow, which Alec and I'm sure Ian's going to join in on that one. Saturday I can't do because of the Sharks doubleheader. That'll be USA-Canada. So I do want to mention this as we're getting some of the ceremonies here at the end of the game. If there is any situation, Alec, because we're going to get dumped with a whole bunch of snow in Michigan, that I don't have the assignments going on with the Sharks, I will join you for USA Canada. It's not likely, but if it's at all possible, I might join you in the middle of a period.
If it's possible, that works out good here. That works best. But what a game, what an atmosphere, and how fitting that they're chanting Crosby's name here with the free assist that he's had, including the game-winning assist. Easily man of the match.
I think so too. Alec, I think it had to be said there again. He was all over the ice setting up his teammates. Again, I'm loving the sights and sounds and everything else, the pageantry. Again, this is just night one. I don't want to oversell it too much, but I think the NHL took their home run swing like Babe Ruth and called their shot here on night one, because this ended up being an epic game. And you can't say it enough. After the first period, it looked like Sweden had no business being on the ice, as Sidney Crosby ends up getting player of the game.
And how fitting that he gets the loudest reaction from this crowd. Yeah. Free assist, all primary assists here tonight. He gets a picture here, native of Cole Harbour, Nova Scotia, one of 3 Nova Scotia players on here, alongside Nathan McKinnon and Brad Marchand. Every player from Nova Scotia got involved in some way in this game.
Well, we'll see what happens in between USA and Finland tomorrow, Alec. Admittedly, I was excited for that one, and I do think the United States will come out ahead. It could be a game similar to this, maybe a 3-2, something like that, because when those two teams play together, it's always pretty close. But the theatrics for this one, I mean, you had Nathan McKinnon 4 or 5 times in that overtime where he could have called game. Philip Gustafson stood on his head to make sure that the puck didn't go in. Then he had a 2-on-1 in the ensuing where Jordan Bennington gets a piece with the goal stick. And like you said, if not for the perfect screen in front of that, Mitchell Marner doesn't score. But he was able to pick that top left corner like a cherry and give Canada the GWG in a 4-3 electric result.
How fitting it is to end it here. First game in an international tournament that we're doing together. And we have this thriller and this precursor to the Winter Olympics next year and the World Cup of Hockey 3 years from now. We don't know who exactly is going to be the host nation for the World Cup of Hockey. Say first dibs on Canada, then USA.
I would say so too. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be here on the air probably about 8:05 again, as it usually was, just a little bit earlier before all the festivities. We'll get all the same things with Finland and the United States. I'll have to adjust my little bit of the heroes, because I actually get to root for Austin Matthews and Matthew Tkachuk. So we'll see what happens tomorrow, but this game was electric. We'll join you for USA Finland. I can't wait, and I'm looking forward to it, Alec. I'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, John. See you tomorrow, Ian.
Take care, Ian.
Take care, gentlemen. Have a nice night.
You too.